Hello and welcome to Road Trip Wrestling, a pro wrestling themed travel show. We travel across the globe to highlight the current wrestling landscape. This episode, we're back in the United States, this time to watch the arguably the second largest American promotion. They're still young and growing, but at least they're all elite wrestling. Today on the show, I'm Paul Rogers, always here. I don't know why I have a case of the jitters, but we're going to get it out of me. Okay, today your host Paul Rogers, and beside me is not Jason, but is in fact Mr. Jacobs, the 5-star man. Is that the five?
Yes,
Five star?
sir.
Would you like to give yourself a little bit of introduction before we get into it?
Well, as you said, I am Mr. Jacobs, a 5-star man. I like to talk about wrestling a lot of the time here on YouTube. Um, I also have my own channel. I do a lot of work with other channels as well. But yeah, my bread and butter is talking wrestling. So this is what I love to do. Thank you for letting me come on.
Oh, no problem, no problem. I'm gonna make it clear right away that AEW was in fact your choice. I don't know if that
Believe it,
means anything
believe it or
getting
not, it
into
was
it,
my choice.
but when offered to Mr. Jacobs, it was immediate AEW. So all right, the show you picked was Double or Nothing 2006. It was January, February, March, April, May 24th, 2026. We're in New York, New York. Are you familiar with All Elite Wrestling in any way, Mr. Jacobs? There.
Yeah, I am actually. All Elite Zone, the channel that I did a lot of, I still do a lot of stuff with. We covered the birth of AEW, and so we were there from ground zero. So yeah, I've been a huge fan of AEW since day one. I would say within the last year I haven't been able to watch as much because I happen to always be working on Wednesday nights. Well, at that time I was always working Wednesday nights, and I was never able to sit down and watch it and everything. But nowadays I actually got more free time to do that at night, so I'm going to catch up as much as I can. But yeah, I'm pretty familiar with AEW.
I'm have a similar story to you in a way because I was a fan of New Japan way back in the day and started to hear the rumblings of this new company that was coming out of Kenny and the Bucks. And what got me to watch is they started off saying it was going to be New Japan come to America. It's going to be sports feel. Wins are going to matter. Losses are going to. And I was like, okay, because I love tournaments. I love round robins. I love all the sports stories. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
Now, is that what AEW turned into? We can get into that as we go along. But I like to joke that this company started from a tweet. Because in
Yeah.
2017, New Japan and ROH had a super show in the States. I believe it was Madison Square Gardens. And
Hmm.
it wasn't sold out. It was a fairly successful show for New Japan coming to the States. And I think it was 2018
Yeah,
or
I'm pretty
later
sure it was.
2017. Dave
Yeah.
Meltzer made a tweet that said no indie promotion or no non WWE company will ever sell out Madison Square Garden.
Hmm.
And Cody replied, "Want to bet?" And we get November 5th, 2018. Trademarks are filed for All Elite Wrestling. The company has, it's been 8 years since its birth. Is there any period of AEW that you're more nostalgic of than others? Because I know a period
Uh,
that I'm very nostalgic for, so I don't know if you have different memories or feelings.
for me, it's definitely the birth of it all when it all started, and you saw kind of a resurgence of wrestling fandom come back as far as the feeling that it had back in the Attitude Era. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? When everybody wanted to watch wrestling again, and AEW brought that back when they first started. They brought back the excitement of this new company coming along to be an alternative. You know what I mean to wrestling entertainment, so to speak. And it was exciting. And that for me, when Sting made his appearance first, when he first made his appearance in AEW, that was so iconic to me. When I think
Mm-hmm.
about AEW, I think about Sting when he first showed up, in the pop that crowd had was you can say it surpassed a Stone Cold Pop for real.
Road Warrior pop, I believe, is the expression. I don't know if that's a matter of fact expression, but I believe,
Close,
you could
yeah.
use that. That's one of those, oh my God, next level pops.
Hmm.
Um, One of the eras of AEW I'm actually really nostalgic for is right at the beginning when they were considered basically like a super indie. They were
Yeah,
like it was like a money mark. Let's get all the indie people to come in, and some were hits, some were missed. You had the librarians that were not the
mm,
best, but hey, we were trying stuff, and pretty Peter Avalon. Like there were some charming people from that period that
yeah.
I look back on now as is Joey Janela main event television wrestler. No, you know what I mean. Like they've definitely stepped up their roster by getting people like Okada and Osprey
Yeah.
and Swerve and all these international talents that they've got through CMML, like Hechicero. I'm sorry, Marco Stunt. I love you, Marco Stunt. You seem like a charming lad, but the Hurt Business are 1,000 times better for business
I
than
gotta
Marco
agree.
Stunt.
I gotta
So
agree.
I could. I'm not saying one is the direct cause of the other, but metaphor is there. You have to kind of shake loose some of the fruit that's not strong, and then move in some kind of stronger talent to kind of uh, help your homegrown talent grow. I have some observations about the show about how they're using international talent with their homegrown talent. So
Hmm.
we'll get into that as we go. But I believe that's it. If you want to kind of head into the card.
Oh yeah, let's go.
So going into the card, we're gonna talk about the arena for just a moment because we are in
Hmm.
the Louis Armstrong Stadium. I
Yeah.
feel like I can hear like jazz playing in the background for some reason, but this is the most number of people ever on the Road Trip Wrestling. Well, in the attendance on a Road Trip Wrestling episode, we have 14,394, which is, I'm not good at math, but a lot bigger than Major League Wrestling, which was about 7 to 800. So
Yeah.
this is a massive step up. Now, I don't know if I'm a big fan of the hard cam. I know this might be controversial, but the ring is like the bottom third
Yeah.
and the top 2/3 of the fans. I don't know if I like that ring like screen real estate, if you know what I mean, but
Right.
it is what it is. The stage for today, maybe I'm used to American companies having these massive bloody stages, but I felt like this is a minimal, I don't know what word, like how would you describe the stage to Double or Nothing here?
Minimal could be a really good way to put it. I think it reminded me of like a WWE stage, like in the early 2000s, when they I'm trying to remember. I think it would be like
Was it SmackDown where it wasn't a ramp coming down, it was all flat ground,
right, yeah.
so you don't walk down into the crowd, you just kind
Just,
of walk
just a,
out.
yeah, and like I mean, I think as far as the look of it all, I thought it looked great, and I mean, and for me, I think in a way, I think they could have went a lot bigger with it. But you know what? I wasn't even tripping on it because of the fact that the LED itself. I mean, they had the big, huge screen back there with all this, and it had stuff all in the way of the screen. But the way it was set up was pretty cool, honestly. And I'm kind of the same way with the camera shots. And there's certain, I mean, and I will give a shout out to the camera crew later as far as the ladies matches, but I'll come to that. But there's certain shots that they'll do where like the hard cam and then it zooms out real fast, and that I mean, I think there are moments where that works for me, and then there are moments where they do that shot, and I'm like, was that necessary?
The
But
let's call it the Okada shot. You know when he does the Rainmaker pose and they kind of snap back? Let's
yeah,
show the whole crowd. Don't show the whole crowd, not all the time. Sometimes you can get away with just holding in on the action for us viewers at home. Like
right, right,
so we don't always need to pull away. And another thing is I don't know if I'm used to watching smaller companies at more, lack of a better term, exotic locations. But
Mhm.
when the background of your shot is just people sitting in an arena, it's
Mhm.
less exciting than. I don't know if you've ever seen. There's an arena in Japan. I wish I knew the name of it off the top of my head, but the background is like this massive stained glass, like
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
huge wall, massive. So it's like something in the background that's a little bit visually stimulating other than just people. I know American wrestling, they want to show the crowd react, which
Yeah.
I understand. You don't need to always be showing it. Sometimes you can rein it back a little bit and kind of minimize some of this stuff. But
But that's
yeah,
one
I
thing.
thought
That's one thing I wanted to say though about the crowd. I mean, it was a hell of a crowd. I will say that they came out to watch some damn wrestling, and uh, and the thing is that I'm always excited to see big crowds like that come out for wrestling because that means that that means that wrestling still has a hold on a lot of people, and that's the thing. I mean, you're always going to have wrestling fans, like just like how cockroaches is always going to be around. Wrestling fans are always going to be here, dude. You know.
yeah, it's the oldest form of entertainment. But yeah, no, this crowd, it was like they gave everyone a Red Bull as they walked in.
Yeah.
Because there's usually highs and lows. Everybody's
Mhm.
got different booking perspectives. America's like a U-shaped booking event. So we'll start off with Marty and Sean, and then we'll go to something kind of comedy, and then we'll go back to like Razor, whatever.
Yeah.
Japan's like a quarter pipe. Let's start off with some old guys and some rookies, calm and simple. Let's ramp it up. So the main event, everyone's just going mental because they still have their energy from the rest of the show. This was like, um, what was the name of the movie? Yeah, but this one goes to 11. That's what AEW and Double or Nothing felt like.
That's
Like
a Final
they're
Tap, I
like,
think.
yeah, it's like no. One of their producers, one of those guys was like, no, this goes to 11, and just turned it to 11. So everything was just to the roof. There was no pacing.
Mhm.
Um, I think there was some accidental pacing because you need it to happen,
Yeah.
but the show's pacing was just like full. Like they just redlined it the whole time, which is good, but
Hmm.
there are some ups and downs. Okay, we got an announced team today. We always seem to forget to highlight the announced team, but it's I think it's the same people that do every AEW show. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Excalibur, Nigel McGuinness, and Tony Schiavone.
Yeah.
They're at least their main set of announcers. I know they um, cycle some people out here and there. I feel
Hmm.
like when appropriate, but that's their uh,
I
that's their
think Jim
main
Ross
group.
came in for a match or two.
I did note that he comes in a little bit later. I think to be fair to him, he's not too well. So I
Right.
think they got one match out of him, and he said, "I'm not feeling it," and they okay, get you out of there, no problem. Um, so to open the match, something odd happened in the land of AEW. Renee comes out, she welcomes the crowd, she does her nice, baby face. Well, not that she's a wrestler, but you know what I mean. Hey, everybody, blah blah blah,
Hmm.
and she introduces Mick Foley. So, how did you feel seeing Mick Foley on a non WWE ring?
I mean, honestly speaking, I love Mick. Any chance I get to see him, man, I'm happy about it, man. I mean, he's a great guy. He is legit a great guy, and I'm trying to remember. I had a chance to because I went to a meet and greet years ago. He was there, and
Mhm.
this man took the time to sign every single autograph, shake every hand. I mean, you could, this guy will sit down and have a conversation with somebody. He's that kind of dude. And I love Mick. So anytime I get to see him on my TV screen, I am happy.
I 100% agree with you a whole way on emotional level. The fact that he has a Christmas room in his house is
Yeah.
delightful. The fact that he does all this charity work, and the fact that when you look back at his life and his career, all his coolest stuff was stuff you would never show children. You would never even put it near the DVD player near Christmas.
Right.
You know, like his stuff in Japan with Terry, his stuff in ECW with Sabu. Never, never in a million years bring that near a child. That's what I think when I see Mick Foley.
Right.
So it was interesting for him to come out and just, yeah, he's just happy to be here. Cuts a nice little, like, I don't even know what to call it because it's not really a babyface promo. It's more of like a, you know, when the president of the company comes out. Maybe it's a bad example for American fans, but it's just, you know, like Jack Tunney would come out and just say thank you for coming. You know,
Yeah.
like a Mean Gene. Like they're not a babyface, they're not
Right.
a heel. They're just, I'm officially saying hello, blah blah blah. We're opening the show, and the pre-show opens up with the AEW Women's World Tag Team Title 5-minute challenge eliminator match with Divine Dominion, great bloody name, versus Viva Van and Zeta Steels with Christopher Daniels. Do you have any immediate thoughts on this match before we kind of get into?
Well, you're gonna have to catch me up to speed with this because I was only able to catch the show. I didn't catch the pre-show.
Oh, that's fair. Okay, so I only have a couple notes because it's an opening show. Like the opening match, the crowd is super hot, and these four somehow don't work a match. And I don't want to seem like mean by saying it, but it's 1 minute in and there's like no moves. They just bail to the outside. They're just kind of doing stuff. We get to, out of the 5-minute match, we get 3 minutes and 45 seconds left in it. We get the first move. So out of 5 minutes, you've killed a 30-year match already without doing anything, and you haven't killed the crowd at all. And then it's just like a basic match. So we get like a simple heat, simple comeback, bing, bang, boom. And by the end of it, they do get one falsy pin that pops the crowd. But this is Megan Bain, pins to win, 15 seconds left on the clock. And I'm sitting here going, did they explain what the 5 minutes was for? Did they, you know, like, I know I'm not the best listening to commentators, but I felt like, did they ever explain why this is a 5-minute challenge? Because I don't think they kind of sold it. But the only highlight I'll give it is this is like a perfect student match for anybody who's kind of getting into studying wrestling, because they did a 3-minute match, which is very, like, if you're learning and you're processing heat, shine, comeback, blah, 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 3-minute match is like textbook, in and out.
So the bare minimum.
Yeah, but it's like applying your basics, I guess, is the better way of saying it, instead of like, yeah, they just squeaked one by. Yeah, this was textbook, I would call this. Like, very basic. I don't even think they took more than 5 bumps. You know what I mean? They're in, they're out. The crowd's still going crazy. So, okay. Up next is 6-man tag match. This, I thought, was a very New Japan match, to kind of get my description shorter. So we have Claudio, Daniel Garcia, and Wheeler Yuta versus Shibata, Hook, and Bowens. So we have one person on each team that's like the dad, the experience. Yeah. They've got 15, 20 years. The other ones are like, well, we're kind of 5 to 7 years in, something like that. So it's like a perfect New Japan filler match. Let's get people on. Nothing really exciting happens. It's just, I hate when people say this, but it's like, this was a bit of a work rate match. There wasn't a lot of story. It was just bing, bang, boom, get the crowd popping. Let's go home. And I was happy with that, even though it was sort of minimal. Okay, this is, you might have an opinion on one of the people in this match, but coming up next is the 10-man match. Boom and Doom and the Conglomeration versus, I have to find the break in this line, Shane Taylor Promotions. Oh, that's it, Shane Taylor Promotions. So Big Boom AJ, QT Marshall, Mark Briscoe, Orange Cassidy, Roderick Strong, and they even had with Big Justice, Harley Cameron, and the Rizzler versus Anthony Ogogo, Charlie Bravo, Lee Moriarty, Shane Taylor, and Sean
Wow.
Dean. Okay, so let's not talk about the match because basically this was just a filler match with a little bit of promotion in it.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you feel about Big Boom, Big Justice, and the Rizzler being in professional wrestling?
Well, from what I hear, the big boom guy, who's a Costco dude,
The
um,
dad.
yeah. From what I hear, he's always from what I hear, he was a wrestler when he was younger, or he trained when he
Yeah.
was younger. Um, but I don't know, man, because it's like I felt like whenever he, him and his son first made their appearance on TV. For a while, I felt like they were just shoehorning them in there, like they were just freaking pushing them down our throats. And it's like I really didn't care about the guy. I barely even. I didn't see any of his tick. I mean, I've heard about his TikToks and all that stuff, but I was never a fan of the dude. I didn't get it. I just didn't get it. I was like, it's some Costco guy. I
Yeah.
didn't. You know what I mean? I guess I wasn't the demo. I don't know, but
No, I totally agree with you there because I was about to say I don't know if it's like a culture thing or a difference because I'm up in Canada and they're like we don't have a I don't know what to call it like a Costco culture.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like if someone said, "Oh, we're doing stuff at Costco," I just go, "And?" You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah,
get the hook. I get the hook. They're doing stuff around this big store and it's big to explore, but it's like you're just an advertisement. It's like South Park. Remember they were talking about people being
right.
advertisements? They are advertisements because they come out with a big bloody mascot.
Mm,
Like it's I believe it's a vitamin water in a box. And they
mm,
come out with, a guy exactly like South Park. Again, they got the big gloves on, the
yeah.
feet, and they come out. So, okay, how do you feel about this level of like product placement in professional wrestling? Because I know some people poo poo on WWE for
Mhm.
doing it. Is this a contradiction or is this different? Or like what? How do you feel about them
I
product
mean,
placing here and in now?
I mean, see, to me, that's never really bothered me because I've always felt like you give me a show, I don't give a damn what you advertise. I don't care. Just give me a show. I've always been
Mhm.
that type. But in the last few years, yeah, it's been kind of a bombardment of advertisement to your face, to the brain. Boom, 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 and it's like it's become oversaturated. You know what I mean? Like it's like to the point to where you can't watch wrestling without them pitching you something, and it's like for me, like I said, it doesn't really bother me as much, but I know for a lot of people, they don't want to be sold something when they're watching wrestling, and I get it. They don't want to be sold shit, and I totally get that. And but I do have concern about the oversaturation of it all. That's very
Mhm.
concerning to me, of course.
Well, I was not to sort of get into a tangent, but this sort of applies because the wrestling I watch doesn't have advertisements unless it's part of a person's gimmick. Like one of the
Hmm.
wrestlers in New Japan owns a bar and they like work it where when he comes out, they introduce everything he owns and it goes on a little too long and it becomes like okay, so it's just him, it's a bit, they drop it, that's fine. But when I watched Mania, it was like wham, wham, wham. Like I keep saying,
Yeah,
like you guys live like this. Like this is okay. I thought the wrestling was the product, but apparently now the wrestling is just the transition to the commercial for the product.
right.
But
I mean,
but
now we have matches that are sponsored by Dude Wipes. I mean, think
now
about this.
now to be fair, getting back to the topic at hand, I will defend AEW a little bit on this. I don't want to like, hey, leave my $1 million company alone, but this is a comedy character with big justice, and the conglomeration are known to dabble in comedy.
Hmm.
he's on the pre-show in a big multi-man getting 9 other people in a match. So is it shameless promotion capitalism in an art form? Yeah. Is it kind of off to the side, like harmlessly? Yeah, because how many people really watch the pre-show? Like
Yeah,
I
that's a good
do,
point.
but I understand that not everyone is. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm a weirdo that thinks the pre-show is part of the show. If you watch the show, you got to watch the whole show, even though some shows it makes it like 8 hours long. But
Mm.
I just watch the matches and skip through it. But yeah, how many people watch the pre-show? So I think there's definitely a difference between AEW having a harmless little product placement promotion in the pre-show and WWE cutting away at WrestleMania to do like a Netflix ads. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It scales a bit different, but I'm not a fan of all of it together. But getting that aside, we can get to the main show because the first match, oh my goodness, this is they start off with like this is like WCW where they just like, okay, the show's starting, let's light every firework. Not
Right.
literally, but they did a good job at that with not overdoing the pyro. But the first match is for the AEW World Tag Team titles, and it's an I Quit match. Oh, sorry. The two teams in this match, I don't know if you've heard of these, but FTR versus, I am calling them CNC. I don't know why, but Adam Copeland and Christian Cage.
CNC's nice.
Have you heard of any of these four fellas? Are they
Oh,
on your
most
radar at all?
definitely, most definitely. And the fact of the matter is, man, I remember seeing. I'm gonna see. I'm one of those people that's always gonna call him Edge. I remember seeing Edge and Christian when they made their debut because at first it was just Edge, and then Christian
Yep.
came after Edge, and then they formed the tag team after they got with the Brood, or they created the Brood with
Mm-hmm.
Gangrel. And yeah, to see them go this far in their career, and they're now tag team champions of AEW. I mean, if you would have told me that Edge and Christian were going to be tag team champions in AEW 2026, I would have said, "Go fuck yourself."
It's like, well, spoilers on the result of the match, but this is by the time this episode comes out, Double or Nothing would have been out for maybe a month, but
Right. It's like the
uh
16th. You know the ending by now.
yeah. It's one of those shows. It's not like we're spoiling some small independent film. This is we're spoiling Star Wars. You
Right.
all, like we all.
A good way to
I don't know
put
how
it.
you. I don't know how you can be on social media and not have a main event or like a big event like this spoiled immediately.
Yeah.
But so I looked a couple fun facts about these guys before we get into the match. But FTR, I swore these guys were from the Indies. Like they did a tour of the Indies and then they went to the Fed. But when I looked them up on their cage match, it says no, they are products of Matt Bloom
Hmm.
and the WWE Performance Center. And I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
oh, I thought they had a little bit of experience before that, but they spent from 2014 to 2020 in the Fed and from 2020 to 2026 in AEW. So these guys like having a home base. I counted 7 New Japan matches total. So I think they've only gone over once. I think they did an American show once. It's funny to see their match numbers hundreds 7.
Yeah.
I don't know if they pissed someone off in New Japan or if they just like this
Mhm.
American style. But so Adam Copeland, his trainers include Bret Hart and Dory Funk Jr., which I
Nice.
thought, oh my god, that might be the greatest combination of trainers.
Hell yeah.
He's got 33 years of experience. Christian Cage, probably most famously known for being in TNA for 3 years.
Hmm.
Nothing else. I don't think he's done anything else since then or before or after. All I know, I know people love Christian and they have fond memories of Christian, but when I think of Christian, TNA, right? Christian, like bang,
Hmm.
my brain goes right to Christian, and I'm happy that they let him keep his TNA theme for AEW. I thought, oh, that's perfect,
That is a good
bringing it
theme
all
song.
around. So how do you feel about an AEW show opening with four ex WWE talent?
You know what, man? I had no complaints because I was looking so forward to this match, and I knew for a fact that they were going to kill it. They were going to kill it no matter what. And one thing I loved is that the crowd sung to Edge. That was beautiful. They sung his theme song to him. They serenaded the man. It was beautiful, and the look on his eyes, man. The look in his eyes. The man looked like he wanted to cry. It was beautiful
and
stuff, man.
and you can almost tell the moment where production kind of went, everyone pause,
Right.
don't push any buttons or do anything, and they just held the camera. Like they might have moved camera shots, but no music, no announcers, nothing. They
Hmm.
just kept it quiet, let the fans sing, and it's like, as much as there's a part of me that was like, okay guys, like come on, let's get, like, this is a huge show, like it's
Yeah, they
taking
let the moment
forever,
breathe. I love that. They let it
just
breathe.
give it and plus as fans it's like we're singing along, but it's not high energy, it's just fun, we're having fun, but we're low energy. So yeah, I thought this was this crowd loved these four.
Oh
I don't
yeah.
think I can say the same. Personally, I have mixed feelings about these teams right now. FTR has no heat for me. Like, I don't really want to see them. They're not like objectable to me. Like, I don't think they're bad. I don't think I'm not. I have no problems with them.
Hmm.
But there's a part of me that's like, guys, you've had the same gimmick since 2014. Same gimmick
So you're
since
over it.
2014.
Yeah.
Modify it slightly. Become old greasers or something. Come out in jeans. I don't know. I'm just spitballing, but you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
modify here. Do something. I know they're good. I know they're great, but there's no like, I don't know the word I'm trying to look for. Like, they've been kind of dead in the water. I feel like there's been no momentum for them. There's been
Stagnant.
lack
That's a
of
good
big
word for it.
momentum. Yeah, like there's just they're just there now, and it's like, okay, you're filling a spot, which in this match is okay because we have two people who are in their 50s working a pretty high intensity match, because these
Yeah.
guys come out and within the first couple minutes they bust out a little bit of barbed wire.
I loved
Like,
it.
their work was slow. I would almost compare it to, like, not a perfect metaphor, but this was like an old southern wrestling match.
Yeah.
Like,
Like
slower
deep south.
paced. Yeah, tell the story, be consistent. So, like, use a prop, move. One of the highlights I have here is they brought out pliers,
Oh
which
yeah,
is
that was
fun.
sick.
You know, you do the nose, which is Three Stooges. They do the groin, which I thought, the crowd went crazy. But that's like a visual that, like, what are you clamping? Like, clamping is junk. Like, it doesn't look like, you know what I mean?
Right. It's very
It
comical the way it went down. Yeah.
it looked good, but on a practical one, you're like, that doesn't look like it. Plus, if you did get him with that, instantly to the hospital. There would
Right.
be no in between. There'd be like, oh,
You'd have to quit
there'd
at
be
that
like,
point.
I'm done. That's it. I might die. So I appreciated the visualness of it, but yeah, there's a part of me that went, So, Miss Jacobs, how do you feel about the I Quit matches where the ref shoves the mic? What do you say? What do you
I think
say? What do you
I think
say?
it's always funny to me because there was this one time I think it was shit, I want to say it was Billy Gunn. He was being a special referee for an I Quit match, and then dude was like, ask him," and Billy's like, "Ask him what?" That shit was so funny. But to me, but I don't. I find it so funny because the whole premise of the match itself is funny to me because you have to beat the shit out of a dude until he says "I quit." I mean, that to me is just the whole concept of the match is funny to me. But to the point to where they're shoving the mic in your face. You're like, I banged your mother. I mean, I love it. I personally love that kind of thing, and I'm always excited to see what the hell they're gonna say when you know they're not gonna say I quit. Like Christian, he was like he totally went left field with it. He was like, I banged your
Okay,
mom. It's like that
I'll
shit
I'll
was
I'll
great.
I'll meet you halfway on that because I do agree when they have something funny to say or something clever or whatever, it's good. It adds to the drama because I want you to quit. Well, not only am I not quitting, but I'm insulting your lineage. It's
Yeah.
great stuff. But when they put the microphone in their mouth and all they do is go, you know what I mean? It's you're ruining because now I'm laughing because what you just the voices that came out of your mouth are echoing through this arena and
That's what
people are
Dax
giggling.
did. Yeah, and the crowd was laughing at Dax. He was like,
Now, if you're well, that's the problem with the arts in a sense because like if you're making a movie and where Mr. Jacobs, I'm going to ask you to cry for a scene. Your loved one has just passed away in your arms, and I need you to cry. When real people cry, it's not cinematic and beautiful. It's ugly. There's snot.
right.
There's, you know what I mean? It's gross. So if it feels like this, when people are in pain, you can have actual yells of agony that I understand at an emotional level. Ah, like screams. Mick Foley was great at that. These screams that you would feel and you go, oh my God, that hurts me to just hear. But when you're just doing like bushwhacker noises, like you're just doing an Arnold impersonation into a microphone and everybody's laughing and it's taking away at the so maybe in the ref's ear, don't put the mic in his face. Don't just wait. Okay, now do you know what I mean? Like plan those out a bit more. But on a fundamental level, what's the difference between saying I quit and saying I quit as a submission? Because in a submissions only match, you don't have to tap. You can just say, I quit. It's a verbal tap. In jiu-jitsu, if I have your arms behind your back and you can't tap, you can just go tap, 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 tap. And that's you know what I mean? So I think this is a match type it's old enough. It's like grandfathered in. We accept it because it's old, but with modern rule sets, it's kind of silly because it's just, you know, but it does imply that it is no rules and weapons are allowed.
Right.
And speaking of that, these guys, I thought it was kind of lame that they stuck with a little bit of the normal weapons, but yeah, they set up Chekhov's table. Have you ever heard the expression Chekhov's table?
I have heard it.
You know, yeah, Chekhov's gun. Any table that has to be set up needs to be used later. But they set one up, and I was like, okay, I love a good Chekhov's table. But as I'm distracted with that, we get some music. Boom, we get a run in. Beth Phoenix comes running out, looking like Masta Slamovich, like with the braids
pretty
and the
hot,
makeup.
man. I mean, goodness.
She's looking great. I'm not complaining. But as soon as I saw her, I went, "Is that Masta Slamovich? Like your look is very close to someone else." But what I thought was funny is she comes out and the crowd pops. And FTR just smash her right into the stairs like immediately.
That was brutal too, man. I was like, damn.
It looked great. And then there was a part of me that went, huh? Like, why this roller coaster? I guess you need Beth out later, but why use the pop? But FTR then sets up Chekhov's table. They light it on fire. And Stokely takes the fire bump. It's the famous Edge Foley through the ropes, bang through the fiery table. But I was so confused on why Stokely took it. Like, I guess he's a heel manager and he's getting comeuppance, but part of me was like, did FTR just refuse to take that move?
That's what I thought too. I thought they made him take that bump because they didn't want to do it.
But why? Like, as a manager, you can just bump a manager normally. Like Bobby Heenan, you can just punch Bobby Heenan and he'll feed. You know what I mean? You don't have to put him through a flaming table. It just felt kind of ill-aimed. You know what I mean? Like the spot was great. It looked safe. Everyone looked over, but it was just a bit of like, why? Why here? Why now? You know what I mean? It just didn't
I
quite
think.
fit. But
I think after he hit the table, I think him selling it. I think that did it for me. I was like, okay, I'm cool with it because the way he sold it, man, was like it was hilarious. The way he went into convulsions, just shaking everywhere. I mean, if it had to be him, he sold it the right way for me. I mean, that
oh
had
yeah, yeah, he did it the right way. I
yeah,
just felt like it should have been one of the FTR guys or
I
Edge or
agree. Yeah,
Christian taking it, whoever's in the match. But so we get to the end of the match, which I thought was sort of interesting because Christian grabs, was it FTR bald, puts him
yep,
in the sharpshooter. They do the whole microphone thing, nothing. Edge comes up, puts him in the crossface. They do the microphone thing, nothing. Edge screams for Beth. She kicks one of the stairs, and like a video game,
yeah.
pulls
First
out a
expert.
2x4 covered in, what are they, nails?
Yeah, there were nails, spike.
Like spiked outwards, and she gives it to Edge. Edge puts it on the face, on the forehead, and he gives up instantly, basically. As soon as those nails touch it, I quit, I quit, I quit, I quit, I quit, I quit, I quit. So, how do you feel about this match after watching it?
I honestly thought it was a great opener, a great way to start the show. It got the fans hyped for the the rest of the show, honestly. And I think at their age, Christian and Adam, I think their age, doing the bumps that they're doing and taking these risks that they're taking. I mean, because you think about it, they don't have to do a lot of these spots were unnecessary, but they did it for the fans. And that's where I take my hat off to them because they're in their what mid 50s going up into their 60s, and they are just
Yeah,
and they're throwing themselves around like they're 20 something years old, and you have to commend that. You know what I'm saying? You have to hand it to them. And I thought,
how
you
is
know,
Christian not aged at all?
that's exactly. I mean, he's found the fountain of youth or something, dude. I mean, that dude barely him
Like,
and Bobby Lashley, both of them, they don't age, dude.
it was like, I was gonna say, it's like Ildris Alba is the,
Yeah,
I
it was
believe is
out.
the guy's name. He's in his 50s, right? Very like
Hmm.
handsome. He looks like he's getting older, but he's, you know what I mean? Like, I can tell
Yeah.
you're getting older, but you still look young for your age. But I guess maybe it might be a generational thing. We're used to looking at like I'm trying to think of one of the old 80s wrestlers where it was like, "Oh, you're 30." Oof. Like who's the guy from the Freebirds, the big poofy hair? Um
Michael Hayes.
he quit wrestling in his very early 30s because of a lung issue, blood issue, something like that. If
Hmm.
you look back at some of those matches, he looks 50. He's
Yes, and the dude was like,
31.
yes, he was like in
So
his early 30s, late 20s. He looked like he was
so
50.
I don't know what Christian's done to I know, okay, Edge in fairness is looking a little bit more his age, but yeah, Christian is okay, I say Edge look more his age. He's rocking a crazy six pack.
Like,
Like I say he's showing his age
insane
in like,
six pack, bro.
but you can see it in his arms and his skin. Like he is getting up there. But yeah, I'm not fighting him, dude.
Right.
Nope. No, thank you. But yeah, that I honestly I wasn't too big into this match. Now, am I going to say that the wrestling was bad? No. I'm just going to say the heat wasn't there for me because
Right.
I feel like a lot of people are super into this nostalgia run of CNC, of Edge and Christian. And to me, it's like, I'm not, if they win or don't win, I'm not that excited either way. So the threat of FTR taking that away didn't really hit for me. So I was like, okay, it was just sort of a their match. Now, was the pacing phenomenal for an opening match for this card? Yes. Did
Hmm.
this group of people work the crowd properly to open this card? Yes. Was I the biggest fan of this match? Not necessarily. So I can definitely give them respect where it's due, but it was just one of those things where it was just like, if I ever go back and watch the show again, I'm skipping that one. You know what I mean? I'll go right
Hmm.
to the second match, because it's now up to the AEW International title, Kazuchika Okada versus Konosuke Takeshita, which is essentially New Japan versus DDT. Because for a little information, Okada is a New Japan Dojo graduate, most famous for his run in TNA where he was Okado. That's going to be my running joke. Famous for his run in TNA where he had a terrible run and ruined the relationship between TNA and New Japan for years and years and years. But he was known for what I like, what a lot of people call is the Rainmaker shock. So when he came back, he had a match with a guy named Yoshihashi, and for their card, they both like goofy faces, and they wrestled sort of goofy, and they did their moves sort of awkward, and it was just sort of a like, who is this guy? Later in the show, the guy wins. I think it was Tanahashi wins the main event, gets the belt. Okada comes out and just levels him. And everyone kind of goes, whoa, that's a massive difference than the guy we just saw. And it's like, that was one of the best storytelling moments where it's like a shock. Like, oh, this guy's good? Whoa, I didn't, okay. So this is very much a New Japan person because he's only been in AEW for a couple years.
Yeah.
But Takeshita is very much a DDT person. I looked at his cage match and he started up through DDT. He's got not dual, he's got a triple contract with DDT, New Japan, and AEW. I think this guy somehow works for every single company in the world because I've seen him in Tokyo Joshi. He's been in DDT. Yeah, No Japan. I swear he's been in Noah. Like, I think he's like one of those guys that just shows up to shows and goes, hey, if you need a guy. And they're like, yes, of course we would use you. So are you familiar with Okada?
Yeah, I am actually pretty familiar with Okada and Takeshita. And thing is that watching this match, it was like what's a good way to put this? It was like watching, the seasoned Jedi versus the young Padawan. You know what I mean? It was like watching, the sensei versus the student. I mean, it was kind of like it was on that level. And the storytelling in this match was brilliant. I mean, and that's what I'm saying. Like American fans, we don't. I think. Well, I think they're the majority of American fans. They don't want to sit back and let a match breathe and actually watch a story be told. A lot of American fans, they want microwave ready instead of letting things cook. You know what I mean? But with this match, I mean, the story was there. And what I thought was more, I think, poignant of the whole thing was at the end when everything was said and done. I don't know if I'm rushing a little bit, but
no, that's all right.
When everything was said and done, I mean, when they stood up to each other and looked at each other, I mean, for a second you saw that respect that they had for each other. You know what I mean? And then Kyle Fletcher comes out and just kind of that whole thing, and which was awesome, by the way. I love that moment after the match. I mean, but in all, I think this is probably one of the best matches of the night. Honestly speaking, I think it stole the show from the second match in. I mean, it was a great match. I loved it.
So this is where you and me are going to start having some splits in our opinions about the show. Like, okay, I have to preface this where I'm not about to shit on this match at all. But as someone who is majority New Japan fan, I think I've been watching them for about more than a decade now. I'm used to big New Japan matches, the dome matches, those kind of big settings, building up. So I've seen both these guys in both those settings. So I've seen Okada in Wrestle Kingdoms. I've seen him in Dominions in front of 50,000. I've seen Takeshita even recently was in Wrestle Kingdom against Tsuji. These guys know how to put these like big New Japan matches that are going 27, 34 minutes. This is long storytelling. This is ups and downs and breathing. I'm going to say that these two, I don't want to say it was like the cold notes, but this was very much like a genre switch. They put on a great match, but this is like how do I phrase this? This is a Japanese match through an American lens in a way.
Okay, that's a good
Because
way
I
to put
think
it. Yeah.
if they did a Tokyo Dome match, it would be completely different than this match.
I agree.
Now, is this match physical and great and lots of action and the flow and the ups and downs? They know how to kind of let the crowd go down for a little bit. Okay, now hit the move. Oh, boo! Like they know how to do that. But there was a part of me that was like, you ever go out and you say, "Hey, can I get a Coke?" And they say, "Is Pepsi okay?" And you go, "Yeah."
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like I'll accept it. I'll drink it. I'll have a fine time. I'm not complaining. But the part of me is like, I kind of want the Coke. You know what I mean? Like there's a part of me that's like, I want to see these two in Wrestle Kingdom. I doubt it'll happen because of Okada's sort of on the down, while Takeshi's very much like, I want to say he's on the up, but he was just IWGP champion. So you know what I mean? Like the careers are kind of crossing paths at different directions. So as much as I would love it, I don't think it's going to happen. So I'll be happy with this. Highlight I can say is they felt like they started in third gear. Like there wasn't that slow start that kind of Japanese matches have where they go, no, headlock takeover. You know what I mean? Slow it down. They're like, no, ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, from the gate, man, from the gate, which I thought was cool. I thought that was pretty awesome because of the fact that, you know, from bell to bell, I mean, you had nothing but just boom, 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 and then there'll be these moments where they kind of let the match breathe, and then boom, 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 and I mean, that to me, that keeps me on the edge of my seat. That keeps me wanting to see more.
And I love I now, are they to my taste in this match? Not all the way, but I love the what some people call no selling spots, but I like the fighting spirit spots.
Yeah,
Where it's like you hit a move on me, I hit a move on you, you hit a move on me, and then it's like, oh, is he staying down? Bam, one more move, and it's like, oh, they're both down for a little bit. Like I love that sort of like, look, you took me out on that move, but I'm going to take every bit of energy I have to stand to hit this one last move on you to at least.
I love that spot.
That stuff's great. Takeshita winning 100% the right choice.
Mm-hmm.
Was it the right context? No, but within this context, with an AEW and Double or Nothing, chef's kiss. Because this was very much the ace, the former ace, whatever you want to call Okada, because he could be arguably one of the greatest in the world for the last 10 years. He's in that S class. There's no arguing him any lower than S class for the last 10 years. So him sort of passing this mantle of, you're now one of the greatest Japanese wrestlers in the world.
Yeah.
Like, it was like when Bryan Danielson fought Zack Sabre Jr. and Bryan Danielson lost and shook Zack's hand and said, you are in fact the greatest technical wrestler in the world now because you beat me. Perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you've put each other over, you made each other look great, and now Takeshita, like he could do anything here and it would be believable. If he won the AEW belt tomorrow, that'd be believable. Like,
oh, absolutely,
he's in that S class permanently now. There's nothing, no matter who humps him at DDT, he's still. Did you ever see that clip? It was like right before Wrestle Kingdom. He was in DDT, and they did the Mabel spot where he's like face down in the ring, and one of the guys comes out, pulls his trunks down. He's wearing a thong and just does the like starts humping.
I didn't see that.
It's DDT is very like, for lack of a better term, very like. They have some homoerotic comedy, you know what I mean? Like they get a lot of jokes out of like guys in thongs and stuff. So seeing Takeshita in that environment, and then the next week seeing him in front of like 60,000 people, Tokyo Dome, the place going crazy. It's like, oh, this guy's really flexible in what he can offer. But okay. So I don't know if you liked it. I wasn't a big fan of this, maybe because I'm more traditional. But after the match, you have the big handshake thing, and Kyle Fletcher comes out because he's been injured. So he comes out, and people were joking that as a heel, he turned heel again by attacking Takeshita, because they had a bit of moment of like, is he going to side with Takeshita and leave the Callis family, or is he going to side with Don Callis? Ultimately, he's sticking with Don Callis, and Takeshita is booted from the Don Callis family. So I don't think it's a good idea, because now the Don Callis family only has 47 members to it. So I think it's, after this. But yeah, I thought that I get the story, I get what they're doing, but I thought, if you guys really want to like hammer the nail of like presenting Japanese wrestling, you should have just let this one breathe.
Yeah.
Have the handshake, have a moment where Takeshita can have the cheers, go away. Maybe have a segment later where he turns on whatever. But like, this could even be on Dynamite or Collision, and I'd be happy with it. But
Yeah.
am I really going to complain? Nah, that's more of a like smaller nitpick, Coming up next, Owen Hart Foundation 2026 Women's Tournament quarterfinal match. They got to shorten these somehow. Athena versus Mina Shirakawa.
Yeah.
This is a ex WWE person versus a Joshi wrestler. I looked up Mina, and she's from Tokyo Joshi and Stardom for about Tokyo Joshi, Stardom, DDT. So yeah, she's very much a Joshi styled wrestler. 7 years in the business. I went, oh, 7 years. Everybody else on the card so far is like 20, 30 years of experience. Like Okada's been around forever. Takeshita's sort of new, but like Edge and like Christian, they've been around forever. So Athena is currently on when I wrote my notes was on a 1,252-day run as ROH Women's Champion.
Yeah.
It was as of Double or Nothing. It was that number. Do you have any thoughts or feelings on these two girls?
First of all, I love Athena. She's from my home state of Texas. She's a Texas gal. Yeah, I love me some Athena, man. And
she's very hard to hate, and this might be a good example of why she's hard to hate. Two of her trainers, one is Lance Archer, which is hard to hate, and the other one is Booker T, which is extremely hard to hate. So how does anybody not like this woman?
You can't go wrong there, man. You can't.
And she's been solid. Like, is she a phenomenal wrestler? Maybe not. Is she top of the card? Maybe not. But if I had a Fed, if I was a money mark that had millions of dollars, Athena would be on my roster.
Yeah, she hasn't even hit her prime yet. You know what I mean? She's still.
She might even be better the older she gets. You know what I mean? Like, she's so. I think the best word for Athena is consistent.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody can go, man, -5 stars Athena match. It's very, like, extremely rare if it ever happens. Mina Shirakawa, I have less opinions on because I don't really know her too well. Do you have any thoughts, opinions on Mina?
I'm just not. To be honest with you, I'm getting to know her recently as well, because I know that she's been around for, like you said, about 6 or 7 years, but like for me, as far as like a lot of her matches, I haven't seen a ton of her matches, but I have done my research on her, and the thing is that she comes from a background where the training is brutal, for these women, and they will literally beat the hell out of these women in Joshi training. I mean, I've seen video clips of the trainers just beating the ever loving hell out of these girls.
There's a notorious documentary of one girl who literally they beat the soul out of her. It was a hard watch, but yeah, they're very hard. I think Tokyo Joshi is a little less. They're not like your sort of All Japan women's where it was like beating the piss out of each other for realsies. Tokyo Joshi's a little like, we like to say it's not a work rate fed. Tokyo Joshi's their opening segment is always a group of 4 girls that come out and do
a dance.
They sing a song, they do a dance. The Up Girls. It's very lighthearted comedy. Now, is the wrestling at the end of their card a little bit stiffer? Yeah, because you can help sell it by the end. But they're not, what they used to be. But Stardom's a little bit harder. DDT's a mixed gender company, so they might expect a little bit more from the women if you want to look, if you want to present yourself as tough as the men, be as tough as the men, and
Yeah.
done. Done. Look at Asuka.
Yeah. Io
Asuka can fight
Shirai.
any man, and we'll go, yep, it's Asuka. Like, I
Mhm.
know she's retired, but you know what I mean? Because she fought Minoru Suzuki in Japan, and it was
Yeah, I
like a
saw that
bloody
match.
death
Yeah.
match. And everyone went, yeah, I'll accept it. There's no like, oh, she's a woman in it, because she's not a woman. She's Asuka.
Right.
She's not a woman. She's Sherry Martel. I know it sounds silly, but you know what I mean? Like, Sherry Martel had that
Yeah.
kind of same reputation. But yeah, no, I thought it was funny that this was essentially a WWE versus Joshi match, but saying that these two girls are very, very solid workers. I
Hmm.
felt like they weren't allowed to be as physical as they could have, but it might have been a pacing issue.
Yeah.
My note on this is this match feels like a Transformers movie. It may not have a lot of depth, but it's still entertaining to watch. Because I did, like, as I was watching it, I was like, okay, is there a little bit of like story? Are we looking for this? Are we looking for that? And it was more like a, all
Yeah.
right, get to the finish. It wasn't so, it wasn't Brett Austin.
Right.
It wasn't those like, but not going to complain about this match. Solid match.
Yeah.
How do you, serious question, how do you, how do you wrestle after the previous match? What do you do? How do you, you're going on stage, you're doing comedy after
Hmm.
Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
How do you follow
Do
that?
you do you really have a shot? Saying that, do you have any thoughts or feelings on this match?
I mean, I love the match. Like I said, I mean, Athena's my girl. I'll always have love for that woman. And I thought it was like you said, it was a solid match from bell to bell. I thought that they kept up the pace the whole time and it didn't really slow down to the point to where you were like, come on now, what's going on here? It was like boom, 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 and then boom, 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 and it was on beat. I loved it. I loved it. And shout out to the camera crew out there working hard for us. Got the perfect shots out there, man. They had great shots, like man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, their production has been a lot better. Am I going to compare it to New Japan like camera production yet? No, because I feel like I don't know if it's like a little bit of looseness in the production where some companies have that trust. Because
Hmm.
I feel like in New Japan you'll have these moments where the cameraman will just go, screw it.
Yeah.
I'm getting this angle because there's 9 other cameramen around the ring. But I feel like in AEW they don't have that like looseness, that trust where it's like they're not getting those perfect angles. I don't know if it's cameramen, that whatever, but yeah, it's like it's pretty good, but it's not up to that snuff yet. Like up to par, I guess is the word I should use. But
Yeah.
no, Athena wins. Vance is in the Owen Hart tournament. Quick tangent. Um, how do you feel about AEW using the Owen Hart name?
You know, at first, at first I was bothered by it because of the fact that you know, I don't know. To me, I felt like Owen's widow uh, is the only reason why Owen wasn't in the Hall of Fame in WWE. But I think because of the fact that of what happened to Owen and everything, kind of put a damper on wanting to put him in the Hall of Fame and all, and plus the lawsuit they had against the WWE, all that stuff. Uh, I'll admit I was bothered by it because I felt like this should have happened in the WWE, but at the same time, his name is still out there. His legend is still living on. His memory is still living on, which is what's most important, really, is for us to all remember Owen and like the greatness of him, really, as far as like this is somebody who was, I guess you could say once in a lifetime kind of superstar because there was never anybody like Owen before or after. So it's kind of a once in a lifetime thing, and if you didn't catch him, he was here, you missed out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's at first I was like, no, this is not cool. Like Owen is in a pocket dimension with He Who Shall Not Be Named, when it comes to like, we just don't talk about it. We all respect Owen, we all love him, but we just don't mention it because it's too sad. Like there's wrestlers' deaths when you get old, you can say okay, but natural causes, blah blah. Owen is too sad. It's too tragic. Everyone gets sad. So when I first heard it, I was like, no, this is a step too far. But naming a tournament after him, I was hoping they were going to make this a light heavyweight tournament, but it's AEW, so most of these guys are light heavyweight anyway.
Yeah.
Now that they're doing it every year, Best of the Super Juniors is on its 33rd year. If they can say Owen Hart's name for the next 33 years, that will be an accomplishment. Does that make sense to you? Because I feel like people are gonna go, hey, mommy, daddy, who's Owen Hart? And you get to go,
Right.
Exactly.
Do you let's take a moment to give some love to Owen Hart. Do you have your favorite Owen Hart rib?
Oh, yes, I do actually. Because this is actually a rib that was told to us, or was told to me by Ahmed Johnson himself. Ahmed Johnson had told, because we did an interview with him a few years back on the All Elite Zone, and he had a great Owen Hart story. So, story goes like this. Ahmed Johnson had just got signed to WWE. This is back when he first arrived.
Oh, early 90s, yeah.
Yeah, it's about, I would say about 90, 98, 97, or around that time. Or maybe 96. But yeah, he had just got signed to WWF. And he had said something about him getting a phone call in his hotel room or something like that about him appearing on the Arsenio Hall show. And for those who don't know, Arsenio Hall was a famous African American talk show host that hosted a late night show back in the 90s.
A very, very famous talk shows. Yeah.
And so Ahmed Johnson says he got this phone call from like a producer or something like that from the Arsenio Hall show saying, hey, you're needed on the Arsenio Hall show. He wants to do an interview with you. And so Ahmed Johnson goes out, buys a flashy suit, gets some nice jewelry, gets a nice, buy himself a nice car and everything like that. So you can go to the Arsenio Hall show. He's going to be on TV. He's going to be on the late night show.
Hell yeah. That's an extremely popular show.
Yeah.
Even it's like, I know there's different cultures, but even outside of like Black culture, that was still a humongous show. Like Fred Rogers, Mr. Rogers was on that show. Like this is a mammoth show back then for you young viewers. For you young.
But yeah, and the producer calls him, said, hey, you're needed. And so, like I said, Ahmed Johnson goes out and gets a suit and everything. He's ready to be on live TV for the Arsenio Hall show. And so a few hours pass by, and he's sitting there waiting on the producer to call back, and he's waiting for the call back. And the British Bulldog and Owen Hart walk out from the side of the building where Ahmed Johnson is sitting there waiting. And they're just kind of like, hey, what are you doing? What do you. And Ahmed Johnson looks at Owen and British Bulldog and says, I'm going on the Arsenio Hall show, man. I got my new suit, got everything ready. Yeah, I'm ready. And so the British Bulldog and Owen Hart sit there giggling, knowing that they're pranking him. And so they leave him sitting there for about a good hour. Everybody else leaves. Ahmed Johnson's still there waiting on that call. And so finally, the British Bulldog and Owen, they just busted out laughing. And and then apparently over a little bit of time, he finally got the joke. He was like, you know what? Fuck this. Fuck you guys. So basically, that was probably the funniest rib that Ahmed Johnson. This is from his mouth. How Owen Hart was a master prankster. Made that man wait for about 4 or 5 hours on a fake Arsenio Hall interview. It was great, man. Masterfully done.
The one rib, there's two that I love, but the one that I'm going to say I want to highlight because I love how Owen's ribs were essentially harmless. Unless they were done to Vince, they were harmless. So the one I remember is Savio Vega after a show. He's putting all his stuff in his bag. He can't find his sunglasses. Can't find his sunglasses. Guys, you gotta help. I spent like $500 on these glasses. Help me find my glasses. All right, man. Yeah, I'll help you. Where'd you sit? Owen's helping him. He said,
Yeah.
Owen helped me look for my glasses for 2 hours. And after a while, he's like, you know what? I'm bored of this. And he just pulls his glasses out of his pocket and goes, here you go. Have a good one. And walks away. And it was like, it was a rib, but no one got hurt. No one got, assaulted. No one got murdered. Like, it was harmless. Savio Vega just starts laughing and going, you idiot. Like, there was nothing on the line. The only malicious story, and malicious is in quotations here for Owen, is they had a match where they had the pig pen, the slop match.
Yeah.
And they brought in some pigs and stuff, some farm animals to kind of sell the setting. So they said, yeah, it was Bulldog and Owen sitting outside, and the animal handlers walk up. Where do you want these? Do you know where they're going? And Bulldog said, before I can say no, Owen goes, yep, I know exactly where they're going, and led them down to Vince McMahon's office.
Yes.
And he said they're sitting in the arena working on stuff, and all you hear is, Owen! Like, he knew it was Owen. It's like, that's, from what I can tell, the most harmful rib. And that's not really harm. Like you got to clean up a little bit, maybe, but like, no one got hurt. You're not stabbing each other. Like, these are solid ribs. But yeah, going back to it, I'm totally appreciative of them using Owen Hart's name in this way, because no one's taking the piss out of him. They treat him with respect. The trophies, tournaments, all that stuff is treated with respect. So, thumbs up. Moving on to a little bit more of a serious topic, less lighthearted. The AEW Continental title. This one has a no time limit on it. I kind of like this, but we'll get into it as we go. It is Jon Moxley, the champion, versus Kyle O'Reilly, the challenger. I'm calling this ex-WWE versus a journeyman match. Because Kyle O'Reilly's essentially a journeyman, maybe a bit more U.S. Indies, but he's been everywhere on the New Japan. Like, he's been everywhere. So I'm going to call him a journeyman. Do you have any thoughts about this match going into it? Because I have some weird thoughts about this.
I personally thought it was a pretty good match, and the storytelling within the match was awesome to me. The story, I mean,
they kind of placed all the concern on O'Reilly's shin and his leg, and I mean, the way that he sold it all match was well done, because there were certain times where he tried to kick and he couldn't do it, and he falls down. He tries to kick again, he falls down. I love that. I love that kind of storytelling in my matches. You know what I mean? That keeps me into the story, invested. Like, oh, can this guy pull it off? But he only has one leg. Oh my God! Well, what's he gonna do now? You know, and the storytelling alone, right there, that had me grip. You know, it gripped me, had me there on pins and needles. I mean, and the technical aspects of the match alone was awesome too, because you had a great showing of technical wrestling. You had a little bit of strong style, a little bit of hardcore, a little bit of everything there, and it was a great match. And at the end of it all, showing that respect that they showed towards each other, I thought that was so well done. And the way the audience reacted to it whenever they showed that respect for each other, mutual respect for each other. I love seeing that in my wrestling. I love seeing, a hard fought battle, and then at the end of these guys beating the shit out of each other, they get up and they hug it out, shake hands, and they're like, you know what, dude, I respect the hell out of you, man. I mean, I love that kind of thing. I love that kind of storytelling.
I would call this, for lack of a better term, a professional wrestling match. And I know that sounds weird because we're talking about professional wrestling and we're halfway through a show. But okay, so this is the story with this match in my eyes. I was watching the whole show. I sit down as a fan. I watch the show as it happens. And by the time this match happened in the show on the first watch, I was already tired. Like, I was already like, oh my God, we're only halfway and this is still going. So my first watch of this match was not favorable. I was like, oh my God, they didn't plan this out. I'll say this match fell victim a little bit to the pacing of the event.
Mm.
because you have to have a break match. You have to have a piss break match somewhere.
Yeah.
If you don't force it, the fans will force it, or you know what I mean. We just feel it. So the first go around, I was watching this match and I was like, I'm not feeling this at all. This is not fun. I'm not having a good time. I was just happy for it to be over. Now, saying that, when I went back to do my notes on this match for this episode, maybe it was because I like separated it from the show. Like I watched a couple of matches, took a
Hmm.
break, came back, took a, you know, so I sat down, I watched this match, and I went, this is a pro wrestling match.
Yeah.
It did help that JR popped in for commentary. He doesn't sound the most healthy, but I was happy to hear him. But yeah, all the storylines about this are what I would call sport storylines.
Hmm.
John Moxley's a tough son of a bitch, but he gives up easily when put in really tough situations. Kyle O'Reilly has put him in tough situations that have made him tap before. We're now putting you in a match. You know what I mean? That if you can put him in a tough situation, you can go up in the card.
Hmm.
Continental title has that time limit. They had time limit draw before, I believe. So now we have a no time limit match because we have to figure out. So at no point when they were telling the story of this match did they ever say, now this guy slept with this guy's girlfriend or this guy said this about his mother. All
Yeah.
it was his leg, his knee, the momentum. It was Rocky 1, for lack of a better
Yeah.
analogy.
Yeah. Yeah.
All the metaphor was through a sports filter. There was no Rocky 5 shenanigans. So yeah, as I was watching this the second time, I was with you. I was like, this is phenomenal. This, if they did this match in Japan, they wouldn't have to change a thing because it made sense.
Hmm.
There was no like verbiage that people have to understand. It was like, yeah, you go for the kick and you would give out. Oh man, all his weapons are now being destroyed. He can't
Yeah.
use his kicks. His kicks are a weapon. He can't use this because those are a weapon. But yeah, by the end of this, I was like fully on board. Check plus. This match is phenomenal. But yeah, 100%. The handshake at the end was cherry on top because as much as this was a sports story, seeing that little bit of emotion at the end, the handshake, the acknowledgement, we get that humanism. It's like, okay, all right, I'm with you. I'm back in
Yeah.
to the
You
company,
put me back
but it's
in.
like, but I don't know if it's just an observation or if it's a flaw in any way that on my first watch I was done with that match. Like I have to, because coming up next, I can't burn my energy through this match when we have for the men's tournament final match, Samoa Joe versus Will Ospreay. So
Yeah.
how do you enjoy one match when you know that the next match is just going to be as big, if not bigger,
Yeah.
knowing the pace of this show, right? So um, Samoa Joe versus Will Ospreay. I'm going to dub this TNA ROH guy versus a
Mm.
New Japan guy. I know Joe is in the Fed, but he was in the Fed for a little. Like it wasn't. He's mostly known for being in TNA, for being in Ring of Honor. He's mostly known for that Kenta Kobashi match. Will Ospreay, all his credentials are in New Japan. Best of the Super Juniors, winning the. I don't think he was IWGP champion. Like
I think.
all his credentials are in New Japan. So saying that, this I'm gonna start off saying this was my favorite match of this card by a lot.
Mm.
What are your feelings on this match?
Well, this match was probably one of my favorites too because of the fact that Osprey's been one of my favorites for a long time. Samoa Joe, I think like I said, well, let's trying to see when I discovered some more. I think it's back whenever he was like early ROH when I first saw Samoa Joe, and I think at that time he was kind of being propped up for you know uh, for future title reigns as far as in ROH because this is before he won any gold at all. And I think this match. I think was a pretty good example of when you have two people that have great chemistry together and that know each other, from head to toe, back and front. I mean, when they have that good chemistry, they can put on a match anywhere, anytime, and it will kill. These two brought the house down with this one match, and I mean, I agree. This is probably one of the matches of the night, if not the match of the night. And with the victory, going over, I thought that the crowd was so on board by the end of this match. I mean, they were all about it, and like you said, it's probably like one of the best matches of the night, honestly speaking.
You have essentially a guy who's a former ace, Samoa Joe, one of the best in the world. Is he on a decline just due to his age and the nature of his career? Yeah. Is he at any way becoming a bad wrestler? No. But I felt like this was a perfect application of him at this point of his career. He knows that Will Ospreay, if unrestrained, will beat him.
Right.
Will is faster. Will's younger. His cardio's great. He's like it wasn't so much catch me if you can match, which I always love that storytelling, but this was Joe knowing like he can beat me. There is
Mm.
no 23rd and 3/3%. He's like, no, this guy can beat me. So the whole storyline was Joe, for lack of a better term, going, slow it down, brother. So
Yeah.
Will Ospreay does a Sasuke special over the top rope, and Joe rear naked chokes him. And I went, that's storytelling,
Hmm.
because Joe's trying to be simple. He's trying to be minimal. What can I do to not wear myself out against this guy? Because this guy's got amazing cardio. I can't let Will do these big moves because he's gonna knock me silly. So it was a fun of like ramping up, slowing down, ramping up. I would almost call this like a Noah match. Like if
Mm.
these guys could do this match in any company on any show, and it would fit perfectly. Like it just so happened to be on American wrestling. You know what I mean? I was always going to call
Yeah.
it television, but it's a big American pay per view. But if this was in Noah, if this was in AAA, if this was in New Japan, wherever, it would get the same reaction. Everybody seemed to love this show or to love this match. I don't think I've seen anything in terms of negative about this match. It's two
Mm.
guys that are hard to hate, and they put on a big match.
Yeah.
It had that feel, it had that vibe. You would really, really have to nitpick to find something wrong or negative to say. And I say that I've been negative about AEW so far. Not negative, but it's like I can say it's not necessarily my thing. It's like this is my thing. This style match, this right
Yeah.
here was me going like, all right, boys, you got me.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Now saying that we're kind of like 3 matches, 4 matches till the end. So, but I do appreciate that these matches have somewhat different styles and they can apply themselves differently. Um, any thoughts on this before we move on?
No, just like I said. I mean, it could be match of the night right there. I mean, that could be the best match of the show right there, quite possibly.
It's going to be really, really hard to beat that. But up next, we got another Owen Hart Foundation 2026 men's tournament quarterfinal match. Swerve Strickland with Prince Nana versus Bandito. I looked these guys up to see if there was any sort of WWE relation with any of these guys. And Swerve, I will say, was an indie journeyman, because when you look at his cage match before he gets to the Fed, there's a lot of indies.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say he's a PC guy because of all of his experience before him, but he did get picked up by the PC. You can probably correct me, or you have more information. He was in NXT. Was he ever on the main roster in WWE?
I think he was on the main roster for like a few months, and then they released him.
He was with the company itself. I don't know about where he how active he was, but he
Because I
says he
remember,
was
because I
with.
remember Hit Row, the faction that he was in. I remember Hit Row being on SmackDown, so he did make it to the main roster, and then they let him go.
And he was there for 3 years, is what Cage Match said. So that would make sense for enough time for someone as talented as him to go through NXT and kind of work his way up as quickly as he has. He's been in AEW for 5 years. I think a lot of people know him as Killshot in Lucha Underground.
Yeah.
Before he put on weight. Don't look up Killshot Lucha Underground because it's gonna almost diminish Swerve's. I hate this term because I am so white. Aura. Swerve is like he put on muscle.
Yeah.
He looks dangerous now. Early Swerve, not so dangerous. He looks like a friendly teenager you'd play. You'd play at the park with. You know what I mean? He seems like a nice guy.
The size
Modern
is
Swerve.
incredible.
Scary. He just has this vibe of like a nasty. I don't know if it's a resting bitch face because I haven't heard anything negative about him, but he just has this face where you're like, ooh, yeah, I'm not.
He's actually really cool in person, but he knows how to put it on. He knows how to turn on that face, but he's actually really laid back.
And some people just have the appropriate facial structure where they just look more menacing than other people. Like some people just look silly. Earthquake doesn't look so menacing because he's got a round face.
Mm-hmm.
But Roman's got a real menacing face because he's got very angular features. You know what I mean? Some people just the luck of the draw. But Bandito was trained by Ultimo Guerrero, which is still wrestling today. Oh my god, 15 years experience, and yeah, I would say he's a journeyman because he's been about everywhere. His cage match is wild. It's like Bandito's been everywhere. So you're looking at all. Usually when you look at people's cage matches, it's especially in the major companies, it's like WWE, AEW, big chunks, or they were with Noah, or they were with Joshi, whatever. His Bandito's cage match is like someone fired a shotgun at the American and Mexican indies and just went bam, 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 because it's like scattered all over. So I'm impressed that there's still room for these journeymen like Bandito coming up, but I will say Bandito coming out, he's got the I forget the term I'm looking for now. The he looks like El Desperado. Like as soon as he came out, I thought, is this New Japan star El Desperado? But it's Bandito with the full I don't know, I'm looking for the name. What's the name? Yes, thank you. Desperado does a similar gimmick. His gimmick's from the movie Desperado, but Bandito's essentially the similar gimmick, so I'm not going to really complain. I'm going to say this is where I was very much feeling the length of the show because as they're coming out, I'm like, we've been here for a long time and there's been no QT Marshall matches. There's been no Paul White matches. And the two guys that are coming out are not chumps by any stretch of the imagination. It's like these are two big boys coming out to have a big boy match. So when I first watched this was a big observation I had because it was like, guys, we need a slump somewhere. I have a note for later in the match, but this match and another match should have been switched to have a little bit of energy. But yeah, I was feeling it here. Now, did these two go out and put on a bloody banger? Yeah. These guys know how to work. They know when to speed up. They know when to speed down. I don't have any like big notes on the match. So do you have any thoughts or feelings?
I think one of the spots that really got me going was the Poison Rana to the floor. That was a brutal spot. And I was thinking to myself, hell no, I would never take a spot like that, man. I mean, like I said, I give it to these human beings, man. They can go out there and put their necks on the line, literally put their necks on the line. I mean, because you think about it, I mean, with one miscalculation, dude, and it's over. You know what I mean? And that's why I give so much respect to these men and women that do this.
Yeah, it was. As soon as I saw it, I went, "Ooh, that's a little too far." Hey, when you go back and you rewind it, it looks safe, so it's hard to complain. They're two vets that know what they're doing. It's really hard to poo-poo anything they do. But saying that, it did remind me of a match years ago. It might have been on that G1 special that initially instigated AEW. It was Tetsuya Naito versus Kota Ibushi, and they did a spot where it was like a German maybe a dragon suplex, and they were on the apron, and he threw him back, and his like head hit the apron, but his body kept going.
Yeah.
Anyway, Meltzer said he wasn't rating that match on principle because that spot was so dangerous, and how nobody should look back at this match with any sort of respect or admiration because they're putting their body on the line in negative ways that aren't really facilitating healthy growth with professional wrestling. Like, you're just trying to end your careers as fast as possible, which I don't know if ironic is the word considering what happened to Naito and Ibushi, considering their careers are, one is over due to injury and the other one is very highly winding down due to injury and wear and tear. So as soon as I saw that spot, I went, Naito Ibushi, don't do this stuff. Especially because you're not in the main event. I understand what they're doing. I get it. I'm not going to poo-poo it. But if you're going to do this, do it in the main event so you have an excuse. You can say, I did this move because I was paid $100,000 to do this move. Like,
there you go. There you go.
You know what I mean? Like, appropriate dangers. You know, this was a little too much in my eyes, but hey, I'm sensitive sometimes. You know, the head-on-head headbutts they do, like the forehead to forehead bang. I'm very much against those. Hard no. Headbutts
I
should be.
understand that. Hell yeah.
I think in kayfabe, headbutts should be illegal so you can have a little fun, but that's neither here nor there. Coming up next, we have the AEW Women's World Title 4-way match with Thekla, Hikaru Shida, Jamie Hayter, and Chris Statlander. Quickly, Thekla is from the Ice Ribbon Dojo, and when I read that, I went, really? I didn't know. Ice Ribbon? I go over to our Road Trip Wrestling, all the companies that we got to watch later. Ice Ribbon, okay, that's what I got to add. But from there, Ice Ribbon, Stardom, AEW in 8 years. So whatever's in the water that they're giving Thekla, start giving it to everyone. Because going from Ice Ribbon to Stardom to AEW in 8 years is like, whoom, a rocket.
Yeah.
She's phenomenal, though. And when I kind of laughed because she's had 4 New Japan matches. What are these numbers? What's going on, New Japan? Why do you have these silly, like, New Japan doesn't have a women's division, so it's mostly for the international like crowds or the big dome shows. But yeah, it sounds silly, but it doesn't make sense when you take a step back. But Shida is 17 years experience, trained by Amy Sakura, if you remember her. Started in Ice Ribbon, then to Wave. Go right down Wave. We got to watch that later. Bit of Oz Academy. Right down Oz Academy. What are all these small little Japanese indies? But she currently rotates AEW and the Japanese indies when she's not in AEW. Jamie Hayter, 11 years experience. Indies, the Stardom to AEW. What is this pipeline? I have to get part of it. I know Stardom doesn't have a men's division, but oh my God, there's this great thing. Jamie Hayter currently with cosplaying Donna from that 70s show.
Oh, she looked so good.
I love how her gimmick and her character are two kind of separate entities that both work together.
Yeah,
but
she has an ass that refuses to quit.
Chris Statlander, created out of I say created because the name of the academy is Create a Pro Wrestling Academy or Create a Pro Wrestling Academy. I just thought that what a weird name. But yeah, indies to AEW. So I don't know what all 4 women in this match. She's been around for a while. Yeah. Jamie's 11, but this is like, these are all young women except for Shida. Well, she's young, but 17 years experience isn't. You know what I mean? They're all now. Yeah, she's the vet of this match. But I thought, wow, this is like, so we have a Joshi, we have another Joshi, we have American Indies that's been in Joshi, and then we have American Statlanders and American wrestling vet. So it's like, this is very much for, I don't know if I'd call them for non-WWE or non AEW talent. Thekla's very new. She just been around since like the beginning.
Yeah.
Jamie's been around forever. Chris Statlander's probably one of the originals. So it's like, other than Thekla, yeah, no, I think I would say this is 3 AEW women with one newer woman coming in, which I feel like is appropriate. This is the reason I was noting them earlier, because all the matches building up to the main events are all very like ex WWE versus ex New Japan or Ring of Honor versus Journeyman. But when it comes to the AEW Women's World Title, 3 out of the 4 are hardcore AEW talent, and one is is an AEW talent, but she's sort of new. You know what I mean? So you have this sort of story of someone from the outside coming in. But yeah, I thought, the sort of meta storytelling of the company and the way they book this event, seeing the end be all AEW people is like, yes, okay. There's a payoff at the end. There's the gold at the end of the rainbow. Do you have any feelings, thoughts on this match?
I thought it was a good match. I mean, I gotta say the ladies killed it for a Double or Nothing this year. They really did show out this year, and but yeah, that kept me invested the whole match. I mean, and the thing about it is it wasn't just a spot for spot for spot for spot. They actually was kind of letting certain parts of the match breathe here and there, and where to
Mm-hmm.
the point to where you can actually you know go along with it. You can actually see because there's a lot of times where they will have these matches where it's just boom 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 boom, and instead of telling some story, it's just a bunch of spots, and then 1 2 3, and then they're out of there. But with this, you can actually watch, and you're actually invested in what's going on in the ring, and not to mention, I mean, they're very easy on the eyes, and the point is that the match was great, and the ladies killed it this year. Me personally, I'm all about women getting all the TV time they can get. I love it.
I have weird mixed feelings about this match. So as I'm watching it for the first time as a fan, sitting there watching it with friends, I hated to do it, but there was a point where my brain went piss break. I'm tired. I'm worn out. I sort of tuned out, but this is
hmm
my first watch. So I tuned out, no notes on this. I don't even remember watching it the first time around. I sit down to watch it again. Again, it was like I took a break, sat down, watched the match, took a break, sat down, watched the match. This match, I think, should be taught in every pro wrestling school, because one of my big pet peeves for multi-man matches, so there's 4 women in this, they're all active. It never once felt like 2 1 versus 1 matches, or 1 1 versus 1 match where people switch out.
Right.
This was 4 women fighting, and I know that sounds weird because there's literally 4 women fighting, but it was very much like Thekla would throw someone into Sheeta, and Sheeta would hit them, and then
hmm
Thekla would hit them, and then Jamie Hayter would hit them, and it felt like dominoes where someone kept setting up the domino. So you know what I mean? It would just
Yeah.
kept falling down
Yeah.
and getting up and falling down, and never once felt like oh shit, you got to get out of the ring so me and Jason can do the spot. It's like, no, I'm going to hit you and you're going to fall, and I'm going to hit Jason, you're going to get up, and you're going to hit Jason. Like, there was this weird, like, what's the lack of a better term? Like a surfing sort of flow to it. There
Yeah.
was some low points and some high points, but it all very much led into each other. It was like shuffling a deck of cards. There was always, oh, she went down, next person comes up. She went down, next person comes up. So I think this should be taught in wrestling schools. This should be a fundamental match for everyone to kind of go, this is how you do multi-man matches. Don't just bail out. Don't just have 2 matches. Because sometimes your attention gets split, right? Like these two
Yeah.
are fighting, these two are fighting. No, they were all in the ring for the most part. Everything flowed together. If they went outside, they stayed together outside. There was no like a you ever see people in the movies watching tennis and they have that like,
Yeah. And they're going back and
I
forth.
hate watching wrestling like this. What are they doing? What are they doing? What are they doing? These girls were all together,
hmm
and they would move all together, and they would fight all together. So
It was easy to
I wouldn't,
digest.
yeah, and I wouldn't say it was the best, I'm not going to Dave Meltzer this in any way, shape, or form, but on the second view, I went, this was a very solid match. On a smaller show, this could have been a main event.
Yeah.
Like, not on Double or Nothing. I don't know AEW, all of AEW shows, but if you put this on just, something that's not their sort of mania or whatever this is supposed to be in that metaphor, but this could have been a main event by far. So, any feelings before we move on to a nightmare?
No, I love this match. I thought the match was good. And like I said, the ladies are killing it this year, and I'm happy to see more of that.
Yeah, it's really, really hard to complain about the female roster. The reason I say nightmare is up next is a match that I don't think has the spark that it used to. Because up next is we have the Stadium Stampede match. Excuse me while I name a lot of people.
Yeah,
we have Jack Perry, Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega, Nick Jackson, Matt Jackson, and Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin with MVP versus Andrade, Mark Davis, Bishop Khan, Ricochet, Toa Leona, Clark Connors, David Finlay, and I'm pretty sure Don Callis was out in that group too. So this is essentially 8-on-8 coming out, and I don't know about you, but these guys tried to do a cinematic intro. We get a little video of the Don Callis family coming out, and they're trying to do I don't know, Fast and the Furious sort of gimmick. They're all getting out of different cars. I thought this was corny as hell, and not in a good way. You do this for a different match, I'm all on board. This match I thought was going to be serious coming into it. Now I should have known better. Looking at it, you know what I mean? Looking back, I should have known better. Hindsight's 2020. But coming into this, I was like, okay, guys, are you serious? Because I did skip over this, but this Stadium Stampede has the perfect mix of WWE, New Japan, and AEW talent. This is the most we got everybody.
Yeah.
Because Jack Perry, I would say, is AEW. He worked in New Japan. Jericho's a WWE guy, but he's been in AEW forever. The Elite, I would count as AEW, even though they're New Japan. You know what I mean? It's all we have all the best talent in the world. Bobby and Shelton are world traveled. They show up in Germany and France all the time. The only people I wouldn't say are S-class in this are Bishop Khan and Toa Leona, and I'm not insulting them. They're still on their way up.
Yeah.
Other than that, everybody's top of the card, world traveled. So it's this is a great mix. But the warm up was they did the one video where they all had cars, and then they had another video where they all had, it was a Tarantino movie. They all had nameplates and they all had suits. Kenny Omega inhales on a cigar and starts choking.
That was funny. I laughed my ass off at that.
That was the only part I liked about the old segments. Because I'm sitting there going this isn't entertaining. And then Kenny comes along, you go, oh, Kenny, stop. You know what I mean? He's so charismatic and endearing that you can't just you can't help but smile when you see him. But I just thought the intro to this was so weird. The Gates of Agony, the Demand are in Warriors type outfits, Baseball Furies type. This would have been the perfect time for team jerseys. Because as the Don Callis family came out, I was like, you guys need jerseys. You need something to help distinguish. But when the Elite came out and they all came out in their outfits, I went, somebody gets it. Because at least I can tell one team from the other.
Right.
One team's all black, the other's just random. Fine. Because I was like, this is going to become a nightmare. Because this isn't COVID times. This isn't cinematic matches. This is a live match with apparently 20 people in it. Because managers are in this, MVP gets involved. There's a lot of backstage people get involved. Leo Rush gets involved. Like,
That's one thing I was gonna ask. What the hell is going on with Leo, man? What is going on with him? I
he's
love it. I'm not
trying.
sure what it is, but I'm loving it.
He's trying to get over, and he's throwing everything at the wall. But this seems to be sticking. Yeah, so we could just get into it because there's so much like of note. The only thing I really have to note is I'm happy to see Gates of Agony in these big matches.
Mm-hmm.
Because we got to teach these guys how to have these big matches if we want to raise them up the card, which I think they want to do. Because let's be real, Ricochet is getting a lot of TV time, and these guys are getting a lot of TV time, and they're putting these guys over, and they're looking great. So I'm happy to see these guys are moving up the card because I enjoyed them when they were in World Tag League a couple years ago, and I thought it was funny because as a New Japan fan, they're like, oh, an AEW team's going to come to New Japan. And we're like, oh, okay, it's going to be, a team that we know. And Dave Meltzer said, it is literally a who's that tag team. And everyone went, well, no, we know AEW pretty well. So we would know who the people. And then they said Gates of Agony, and everyone collectively went, who? Who are these people? But they were like Ring of Honor, bottom of the card at the time. So now they moved up. They're with Ricochet. I'm extremely happy to see these guys. They look like they're having a ball. But I'm going to say one thing, and then I'm going to give you the floor. But this, for the lack of a better term, was a video game match. How do you feel about this Stadium Stampede match?
But quite honestly speaking, I mean, I'm one of the fans that enjoys the silly aspects of wrestling. I enjoy that. But I mean, I can see where someone else can be like, you know what, it's not for me. I can totally get that, But for me, I've always loved the funny aspects of wrestling. You know what I mean? And like I said, with Leo Rush coming out of nowhere and with Bobby Lashley, and if you can think back, what was it, 2018, 2017, when Bobby Lashley and Leo Rush were in the WWE, and Rush was managed by Bobby at the time. And it was kind of like seeing those two face to face again. It was pretty cool, honestly, to see that. But yeah, I mean, I love the match. I've always been a fan of the Stadium Stampede matches because I think that's an opportunity for them to have fun. That's an opportunity for them to get creative and just throw stuff against the wall just to see what sticks. And I mean, I've always been appreciative of that. I think, and one of the spots that killed me was the Luchasaurus spot when Andrade was trying to get the number of the Fine Mamacita, and Luchasaurus comes out of the crowd with a blonde wig,
and it was like it was like a comedic, like he just sprouted from the ground out of nowhere.
I loved it, dude. I fucking loved it. That's what I'm saying. Stuff like that. It's what I love about professional wrestling. If you can find funny aspects in wrestling and just tweak those moments, I love that stuff. I'm a huge fan.
I have some nitpicks on the show, and I'm gonna admit that they're nitpicks because overall, it's really hard to hate this match. It's like not enjoying the Three Stooges. Like,
not to mention Jungle Boy's attempted murder.
Oh my good. Yeah, that was. Okay, so we have a lot of what we would call like cinematic spots. Like everybody's building to these big moments. So one of the first ones was Toa Leona does a 3-person Samoan drop. That's wild. 3 people stacked up.
Yeah.
They all land safe. That's a like, oh my God spot. We got to build up to it. We got to make sure everybody's in place. He does it. Oh my God. This is why I refer to it as the tennis match, because as they're doing spots, they kind of separate a little during the match. And I felt like as a fan, you're sort of going like, what are they doing over there? Okay, what are they doing over there? Okay, what are they doing over there? And it would have sucked more, but these guys I don't know how they timed it. I don't know if they had earpieces in, but somehow they timed it masterfully. So you and me would do our spot. Boom. And then they would do their spot. And then there was no overlapping, and there was no just like general brawling. Like WCW, these old matches where like the Nasty Boys would spread across the arena, but it was just brawling. It was just punch kick. There was no, You and me have to make it to the concession stand so we can do the food fight spot,
Right.
which actually happened in this match.
I love
And
a
I
good
will
food
say,
spot.
I can appreciate them trying, but I think they realize that you need like 200 people to make that. What's it, Animal House, where all the food just goes?
Yeah.
You need like 100 people throwing at the same time for that imagery to work.
Yeah.
Because they started, and then it was just like one thing, and then one thing,
Yeah.
and so I was like, oh, I can appreciate you trying. Didn't pay off the way it needed to. That's okay. It was like a 1 minute bit in this long half an hour match. That's fine.
Yeah.
Something you can learn on and do later. Now, something we can learn on and never do ever again. Jack Perry does a drop toe hold with Mark Davis, and Mark Davis does a face plant onto the chair of a leg, grabs his face and wigs out like and even Excalibur like notes like that was a weird response for
That's what I was thinking too.
Like, what the fuck? Did they actually get hurt?
So as I'm trying to watch the match, so they're continuing. Andrade does a spot where he hits Satnam Singh with something, and they're like, he's the right behind me spot. And every time they turn, Jungle Boy's covering Mark Davis. And I was like, okay, that could just be them, like, we're pretending to fight. Or it could be him going, oh, crap, he's really hurt bad, so I'm going to hold on to him so nobody comes over and kicks him or something. You know, like, is it I'm pretending to fight, or am I protecting my matchmate, whatever it was? Yeah, every so often it would turn back, and everyone's like, well, what's going on? What's going on, Mark Davis? What's going on? But eventually he gets up and he starts brawling again. And so Satnam Singh picks up someone. I might be misremembering the spot.
Yeah,
Mark Davis.
Mark
Davis is like holding his head like this, and he's wandering. Satnam Singh picks up a human, a full human, throws this full human. This full adult age human being hits Mark Davis in the back of the head. Bang! And Mark Davis just goes, huh? And keeps moving. Dude, you got hit in the back of the head with a full man. A full, like, this guy pays bills. He's got a mortgage, and he was used as a weapon, and you just walked it off. Like, dude, Mark Davis is a beast. Like, that was the most terrifying thing.
Freaking nature, man.
Oh my god. And it only gets worse for him as we go later in the match. But going back to like cinematic spots, we do get a 10-way corner spot, which I thought, come on, the fans are gonna eat this up. Count to 10, beautiful. I will say the storytelling in this match, if there was any, was a kid telling you a story where there is no end. Has a kid ever told you a story and the story is and then. So there's no like necessarily ups and downs, shines, heats. There's no psychology in that sense. This is literally like, oh, you want to do that thing? Okay, let's go do that thing. Oh, you want to do the table? Okay, let's go to, like, it was just and then. You don't have to sell because the fans are already looking somewhere else. And you can go do the next, and it's like, oh my god. So that's fun, but this is where it gets a little different because they start going behind the scenes. We get the Gates of Agony and the Hurt Business in the back. That's where we see Leo Rush, who bites someone. I love that Leo Rush is like a rabid dog. Like people are just like, oh my god, don't move. But we get the dogs and the Bucks and the merch stand, and I could hear. You ever watch OSW Review?
Yeah,
it's a wrestling podcast, and one of their famous things is, oh, I'm sure the fans were happy to watch a match on the television.
Right.
Because after a while, I realized like there's a lot going on, and half the match you're watching is literally on the TV. But I guess it makes sense because if I'm in the crowd, I can go, you, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you were fighting on the stage, I have to look all the way over there so I can understand sort of what they're doing. But yeah, this felt just like, and then. Jericho is getting beat up by Ricochet. Ricochet's got a tennis racket. Oh no, Jericho's got a bigger tennis racket. Like, I get it, but there's a part of me that's like, this should have been like 2 matches ago to give us a sort of lull. Because this is fun. This is funny. It's low stakes. It's low energy. Like, the guys are working their ass off. But as a fan, there's a lot of like, ah, ha, ha, ha moments. And you hear Tony Schiavone very clearly, like, this man is loving his job. He's like, I love my job. This is the best. Like, this is a man enjoying his work, and this match is 12 people enjoying what they do.
Yeah.
But it was very Looney Tunes. Like, they used the what are they called? The tennis serving machines.
Yeah.
They did a bunch of stuff like that. Now, you mentioned something earlier we got to talk about, because I thought this is where they sort of messed up. This is a sort of WCW spot.
Mm-hmm.
So we see Mark Davis, who now looks like the Mummy. He looks like Terry Funk. He's covered. His face is covered. He's apparently pissing blood from his face. And he sees a golf cart. He walks over to the golf cart. There's a knife in it. And note. It's very like D&D. Like, okay, go and get the note.
Yeah.
And it just says like, I'm watching you or something stupid like that. And then it cuts to reverse shot, which was obviously shot earlier.
Yeah.
Bus comes full speed, hits the golf cart, and just boom, smashes it. Jungle Boy gets out and kind of like, does a like gym camera pose thing from The Office and move. And part of me went, hey, do you guys remember when the Giant had that monster truck match with Hulk Hogan? So do you remember when the Giant fell off of Cobalt Hall? Like, he fell off. And then later in the main event, he just showed up fine.
Walks right out like nothing happened.
Well, I hope that doesn't happen here, because that would be weird. But this is sort of weird because they're like, it's low stakes, it's comedy, the energy's low, and then all of a sudden, attempted murder. Okay, all right. Like, whoa, big spike. You could even hear the crowd, like, legitimately, you could hear the crowd get quiet, and like a couple people just go, what the fuck? Like, this was a huge swing in tone, and people were not sure how to feel about it. But the last 7 minutes, 5 minutes of this match is literally like, hey, everyone, all 20 people in this match, get your shit in, let's go home. Because they just start bing, bang, boom, boom, boom. And what I kind of liked is Ricochet took most of all the moves. And then I think Khan pushed his way in. He took the last move. He took the pin. And it was like, oh, the baby faces went over super comedically clean. Yeah. Like, there's no question of who lost. Like, this is saying that, was I a fan of this match by the end of it? Not so much. Like, the gimmick, I get. It was a lot of like low stakes stuff for the second last match on the card. Like, I feel like this should have been a little bit earlier. Like, the booking of the card is a little jumbled. I know this is a nitpick, but if this was halfway through the show, I feel like it would have helped the energy of the rest of the matches.
No, that's understandable. Yeah.
Yeah, because it just felt like all the other matches were at 11. And then this match, they went, no, we're just going to go mess around for a bit and have fun. And it's like, totally fine. This is a video game match. If they can somehow make this into their video game, I think they would sell more video games. I know their video game version of this match type is not this. I think it was more like a Fortnite type of thing from what I saw their video game. But yeah, like, this is how you would sell a video game, is a match type like this. Like, this is a nightmare to probably put in a game, but hit your move, 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 hit your move. L1, L1, L1. Let's go home. But am I going to complain about this match? Am I going to say it's bad? No. Like, the worst thing I can say about this match is it should have been on a little bit earlier, but
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
Do you have any highlights of this match or feelings before we move on?
There's one thing that I think there's one opportunity I feel that they missed out on. And don't get me wrong, I love Luther. I'm a fan of Luther, but they missed out on an opportunity to get Jim Ross, not Jim Ross, but Jim Cornette to hand that tennis racket to Jericho. That would have been perfect.
Uh,
It would have been just chef's kiss to have Jim
it
Cornette pop out, hand him a big ass racket. Come on now, that's just comedy gold.
it's like it would have worked, and it's like it might have taken a little bit of attention away, but yeah, that would have been a weird. Like, oh my God, Jim Cornette's here for no reason. We'll never elaborate on this ever again. Like,
They never
just don't
touch
mention
on
him
it
ever.
again.
Just never mention him ever again. And it would be a fun little tongue in cheek for Cornette because then he has something for his show that he can work. And
There you
but
go.
yeah, this was worst thing I can say is it was in not the best part of the card. And to say that about a wrestling match, I feel like is a compliment. Like.
Hmm.
These guys, they did everything that they could have possibly done in a single match. And all I have to say is, oh my God, I hope Mark Davis is okay.
Yeah,
That's it. Because I hate seeing anything with the eyes.
yeah, that gets me
Like getting
too.
cut in the forehead, but the eyes, I don't want you to lose an eyeball. You can lose an ear. We've learned from Mick Foley, but losing an eyeball, no, that's too much. And hopefully he's okay. I think he is because I feel like we would have heard something by now in the
Yeah,
internet community
that
if
was
he
a
was
scary
really
spot.
injured.
Though. That was a scary spot.
But speaking of scary spots, what we have next, the AEW World Title versus hair match. So if Darby Allin wins, he keeps his title and he shaves MJF's head. If MJF wins, he just gets the title. How do you feel about this stipulation before we talk about the match itself? How do you feel versus a hair? It's not even a hair versus hair. It's just your
Hair-
hair match.
Yeah, I mean,
It's crazy because it's kind of so MJF. You know what I mean? Like, like what kind of stipulation is like, okay, if I lose, I cut my hair. But but I mean,
if his hair's not also on the line, I mean, I don't see the point because it should be hair versus hair. But I mean, I don't know. That's just my way of thinking. I don't know, but
I
you know,
have a weird feeling about this because when I on the build up to it, I was like, "This is fine. This is wrestling. We can have hair matches." Like I've seen a lot of lucha mask versus hair. Like that. Okay, I'm fine with hair matches. Like there's enough. What's the word? Precedent for them to be in wrestling and be treated respectively that I get it. MJF did a great build because people were going hair match. And he's like, no, you guys are brainwashed by the Fed. You guys, like, he, instead of being like, no, that hair match is silly, he went, no, you're silly. You don't
yeah,
understand wrestling. I understand. I'm going to get into this with MJF, but his character has so much depth. It's not just a gimmick that he has. He has an actual character. When he's on a podcast, he's in character. His character has these ups and downs because he'll respect WWE, but he'll also like put his foot down and go, well, I want to do it on my own terms. But it's like he was very good at selling the hair part of this match. A lot of people were excited going into this. I know Jason would love the kind of hair idea. Now, hindsight being 2020, do you still think the hair stipulation is good?
mm, I mean, in this case, not really. I mean,
Like we're moved past it. We can take us a little bit of a breath away from it. I would say, okay, knowing MJF and what he likes to do in wrestling, I would say this was silly and was not necessarily needed. But MJF sold the hair match so much that if they were to do it next time, they've done the work. There's a great expression I love using in wrestling is if you do all the work before, you don't have to do any of the work after.
Mhm.
So if we put all our work into the storytelling of the match, when we actually get into the ring, we don't have to do a lot. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
he put so much work into selling the hair versus hair match stip that when, let's say, Bandito goes to do it in a year, people are going to go, oh, this is serious because we've already treated it as serious. You know what I mean? We're putting in the work beforehand to lead up to later. Now, is that going to happen? I very much doubt it. But if this was a professional wrestling company, they would, you know what I mean? This is setting up the main event for a year. This is, you know what I mean? We're putting in seeds of stories because this, when we talk about storytelling in professional wrestling, like we have to stop here. I have to sort of take a step back. We're doing a review show, but it's like this match might arguably be one of the greatest matches when it comes to telling a story through character, telling a story through a pacing of a match. These guys, have you ever heard of the Plinkett test?
Yeah.
So describe these characters without saying what they look like, who they are, what they didn't. It's from Star Wars, so what they did in Star Wars. But I appropriate it for I translate it for wrestling because if you were to describe MJF without saying what he wears, any moves he does, like what he dresses like, how would you describe MJF on a character standpoint? Like only character, not gimmick, not in ring, only character.
Probably treacherous. That's a good word for it, treacherous. He's cunning. I'll give him that. He's very cunning. Kind of like
to add on cunning, I would say people underestimate him when it comes to his wrestling IQ.
I agree, absolutely.
And it's such a weird thing because he comes out and he mouths off, and everyone goes, "He's just a mouth." Even fans will go, "He's just a promo." Like, okay, he is mostly just a promo. His in-ring work is great, but he does a lot of promos. But it's like you can break down the MJF character outside of like what he's fighting for. He's arrogant, but he's also got like he knows he can back it up. He's arrogant for a reason. He doesn't have to wrestle you. He can slow it down. He's very intelligent. Now, the other side of this match is we have Darby Allin. What words would you describe Darby Allin? Not his gimmick, not his moves, his character.
The wild card. The wild card. That's a good way to put it. The wild card.
Reckless is a good word to use on him. He is, I'm trying to find the right word, but it's like overindulgent. He overdoes himself.
Yes.
Like he has a wrestling IQ. He's very smart, but he outpaces himself. He outdoes himself. And that seems to be the story going into Double or Nothing is Darby Allin is doing the old punk rock, hoorah, I'm going to be the fighting champion. I'm going to fight anyone. No, MJF, you're the big guy at the top. I'm not fighting you. But Darby Allin through this, I think he went like V6, V7. He defended it 6 or 7 times throughout television,
so,
6 months.
Yeah.
He's worn himself out. So we have a literal sport story of someone who can beat you if you let them. It sounds weird, but MJF has the intelligence to slow him down, to keep him grounded, let him make his own mistakes. This sounds like a movie. It sounds like we're talking about 12 Angry Men. You know what I mean? Sounds like we're actually talking about cinema, and this is a professional wrestling match. So to not go into this too in depth, this is very much a MJF is trying to let Darby make his own mistakes.
Right.
And what I appreciated about this is the match starts basically with Darby doing a I don't know what it's called, but it's a suicide dive where no one's there and you just land on your head. I'm sure there's a word for that, but that's what it starts off with. So immediately in our main event match, the power is drastically to one side.
Yeah.
MJF fine, but not only is Darby worn out from his title reign, he just landed on it. Legit landed on his head. Like there's no way to fake that. He didn't miss it and landed safely. He landed on his head. Like you can't fake gravity, for lack of a better expression, right?
Exactly.
So The story of the match is MJF is way smarter than anyone gets him credit for, but Darby is just the toughest human being in existence in humanity. And this goes on for about I wish I had the time. I want to say they went 25 minutes.
I think so. Yeah, a little over 20
But
minutes.
this, I don't know if this was MJF helping Darby learn some big match stuff, but these two have amazing chemistry. These two work amazingly well. Do you have any personal highlights, lowlights of this match?
I'm with you on that because of the fact that I'm amazed at the chemistry that these two have. It's as if like you can turn off all the lights and stuff, and they can have a match in the dark, and it'll be spot for spot right there because they have that chemistry. They know each other that well. They can be where they can have somebody be where they need to be. I need you to be right here for this spot. Be right here for this. And it's like you see how well they work together. And I think to myself, you know, they've had to have went back and rehearsed this and went over different spots over and over again. And I mean, you have to get these certain things down pat because, like I said earlier, one miscalculation of any move can end a career like that.
Oof. Even a
So
slight, if Darby landed slightly different on that opening dive, that would have been the whole match.
yes, yes. And the thing is that at the same time, you're thinking to yourself, okay, Dari must have a fucking death wish doing all this stuff to himself. And there's a lot of times where I sit back and I think to myself, all the spots that he's done over the years, half of them aren't even necessary. The majority of them aren't necessary. But he does it for the love of the game, and he wants to get a rise out of everybody. And that's
And
what I think.
and what I love is that. So a lot of people like poo poo on Jack Evans because he doesn't have a character and he just does a bunch of flippy stuff. Darby Allin has a story, character, reason why he does these moves.
Yeah.
Like he's not doing them to do them. He's doing them to tell you as a fan he's reckless. He's wild. He's dangerous. He doesn't what's the term? I have no self preservation instincts. Some people look at stuff and go, I don't want to die. Darby Allin looks at stuff and goes, well, let's get
Yeah. He's like, well, everybody does sometime. Fuck it.
Yeah. So we have what I would call a very basic wrestling match for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Until the only thing I would say that went wrong in this match, and it's very much a nitpick because it's a small thing that didn't really add. They went to do the Sean Taker cameraman spot.
Yeah.
Where they go to do a dive. MJF pulls the cameraman. Darby does not make it all the way. So the cameraman kind of falls. That's fine. He points the camera. That's fine. I actually even like the shot of the camera on the floor. Like it felt very like in those little like found footage movies when the person that has the camera gets killed and it falls on the floor.
The camera falls. Yeah,
it felt like that. It felt raw. It felt sort of weird and different. It didn't help that they showed the replay and you could see that he clearly missed him.
Yeah.
And now they're having people come out and help the cameraman walk out.
You guys
did it affect
on that one?
Did it affect the match in any way? No. Was it technically a mess up? Yes. Am I going to deduct the match points for that mess up? No. It did it was a small spot that didn't really tell too much of a story. It's not, you know what I mean? Like, plus everyone seemed fine. I think Taker almost landed on his head. That was scary about his spot. So that's a bit different. Luckily, everybody looked fine. I have it here. The fans forgave it. Like, if this was the ECW crowd, if this show was not the show it was, dude, they would have killed that. But I think they were like, you know what? It's like they went strike one.
Right.
Strike one's in the main event, dude. That's really good. Like, exactly. Hey, there's
4 hours in. They're like, all right, that's fine.
And that minimal mess up. A little bit of a bigger mess up. They fight up to the rampway where they have a little table, a little chair for the head shaving, and it's on a little bit of a platform. So the table's not on the ground. It's on a 6-inch platform. Then the table. They put MJF on the table. Darby goes, he climbs up. He does his coffin drop off, not without doing a nice little bang bang.
Yeah.
They did a nice little callback to the beginning with Foley, and he does a coffin drop, but I don't know what happened, if he went too far, if Maxwell didn't like catch him the right way or something. But as they land, Darby kind of keeps going and hits his head off the back of that little platform and just starts rolling around like crazy. And as soon as they turn that camera on him, it's just like he dyed the back of his head red. Like he was pouring blood. So I don't want to call that a strike because it fits with Darby's sort of recklessness, but it's the back of the head. It's a dive. We can work on this. Maybe 2 tables next time. Something. I don't know. But we can work on that. But I thought it was great because now we have this moment of Darby who has the advantage in the match, but as fans, we're questioning whether he has does he have enough to get MJF back in the ring to finish the match?
Right.
And there was a couple little things that I went, oh, Darby's so good. So he has this moment where he kind of falls back into the barricade and he goes like this. And it's just for a moment. But this is a thing, like I have no feeling in my fingers. I have no feeling in my hands. And I'm trying to get feeling back. And it's not a like wrestling cell. It's like a real world cell. So between that, and which I know is like that's a little bit iffy, but then he goes to get in the ring and this is a full wrestling cell. He grabs the apron and like falls back. But it was enough that you're like the blood, the hand thing, the falling. It does Darby legit. Like now we're suspending our disbelief.
Yeah.
We've seen Darby legitimately hurt himself enough. Does he have enough? No kid, like no, this is a show. This is legit. Darby, oh my God, you're about to fucking die.
Exactly.
Like we're bleeding. And this is great storytelling because it's just like MJF's tried everything and Darby's just outworked him. And we get the Scorpion Deathlock and he does the like, I can't do it anymore and collapses. Great camera switch because now we get MJF who like knows I would have just lost. Now I have this momentum. MJF hits a avalanche tombstone into a headlock takeover to win the match. One little thing I noticed is during that avalanche tombstone, you can see them communicate, and you can clearly see Darby go, "Okay," because this is a scary move.
I would never.
You mess up that tombstone. But I looked over it frame by frame. MJF very much gets his knees first.
Yeah.
Everything kind of lands, hips, but it looks vicious. And he covers Darby 1, 2, 3. And what I love is they literally told the story of he won, but he only just survived.
Right.
Like just by the skin of his teeth made it through. So when it comes to the main event of your AEW show with your 2 AEW wrestlers, you made both of them look like $1 million.
Yeah.
Any thoughts and feelings on this match?
I was the same way whenever Darby was just bleeding and just I'm thinking to myself, dude, don't die. Please don't die. Please. And the thing, like I said, man, he takes all the risks that he takes in the ring and outside of the ring. And to have that kind of daredevil mentality, to have that devil may cry mentality, I guess they would call it, it would be, for me at least, like I would never in a million years think about taking an avalanche tombstone, bro. No. Bro, an avalanche tombstone. And Darby's like, yeah, dude, let's do it. Let's just make sure to do it right. Like, dude, that's what I'm saying. He's a different type of man. He's a different type of breed, man, because he's the type of dude that'll run into the fire instead of running away from it. You know what I mean?
To have a little bit of fairness to Darby and MJF, this is Double or Nothing AEW's equivalent to a WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
this is a WrestleMania moment.
Oh, absolutely.
So if that's what they were trying to do, if they were trying to say, look, we're gonna have they need to fix this, a double or nothing moment. Sounds bad me saying it, but the metaphor is there.
Yeah.
This is a good start because people are gonna go, oh crap, remember that match? That match was. This goes up there with Shawn Taker. This goes up there with Okada Shibata. Like this goes up there with a lot of the matches. Now, my note here is whoever booked this match knew what they were doing. Every little thing mattered. Everything fed into another thing. It was all bit to bit to bit to bit to bit. Nice little thing is they get Darby on the gurney and MJF poses with the belt. He's standing on the gurney. My only problem is it took too long for the cameraman to like lower the camera to get that shot.
Yeah.
Nitpicky, but I like the imagery of Darby on the gurney, MJF. Kevin Knight comes out, scares off MJF. Oh, I'm very happy that Kevin Knight has come out to save Darby Allin because he's such a nice guy. Why are they positioning like that? So it's very clear as a wrestling fan what's happening.
Yeah.
But there's this moment where they let it build. So MJF gets out of the ring. Kevin Knight goes on to the corner. They're wheeling Darby around perfectly in line. And everyone kind of has that moment where they go, no. Bang. It's sort of like the Seth Rollins moment where you know what's happening.
Right.
So you can almost hear people like, no, don't do it. Kevin Knight comes down, hits a big splash onto Darby, and then just dumps him, which I thought was funny because I'll take the splash. Don't dump me like that, dude. My hands are down here.
Right. You can't even do anything.
And I have here, finally, my boy, Kevin Knight turns heel. I want to show a little montage of him being a young lion in Japan and him teaming with Taguchi. You know, like I've been watching this guy for a few years now. So to see him not only make it to AEW, but to kind of shed this baby face gimmick, give him a little bit more attitude. The man can work. He looks great. It's like seeing someone, or it's like seeing a relative graduate high school or college, and you're like, "That's my boy. This is my boy right there, Kevin Knight." Yeah, he's been on my boy list for a few years, so I'm extremely happy to see him take that next step. But we get copyright, fade to black, so that's the end of the show. So let's Mr. Jacobs, after we watched Double or Nothing 2026, what are your feelings after the show?
You know, as a whole, the whole show was pretty good. I really enjoyed it. I mean, every match pretty much gave me what I wanted, honestly. My only complaint is it's a little bit too long. 4 hours, a little bit over 4 hours. Too much. It was a bit much for me. But saying that, it was a great show. I enjoyed every single match. Every single match hit for me. But yeah, I loved it. I loved it. Like I said, I just wish they would kind of truncate it down a little bit, maybe. But hey, other than that, it was a great show.
Yeah, it's really hard to complain. It's like saying my steak is too juicy, my lobster's too buttery.
Right.
But it's also at the same time entirely too much tuna. Like people can say, "Oh, I ordered a tuna sandwich. It came with entirely too much tuna." Well, how can you complain? Well, I can't eat all this in one sitting.
Right.
And that was the problem I had with the shows. I literally could not eat all this in one sitting. So the first half of the show I enjoyed. The second half I got burnt out. Only when I went back later, I enjoyed the second half because I had that little bit of a break. So the pace, you can't have the whole show at 11, I guess is the point we're trying to make. You got to have a couple matches here and there to like let it breathe, give us some up and downs. I will say that this is like a 3-hour Fast and the Furious movie. It's way too long. It's exciting, but there's a lot of like mind-numbing stuff happening in the sense. So to me, the type of fan I have, the type of genre I like, this was very good, but it was also like very American. It was like, "Buh, buh, 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 buh," you know what I
Oh,
mean? Like,
absolutely, absolutely. As an American, I can tell you, it was very
slow
American.
it down. Yeah. So, is this type of event the type that I'll go back to all the time? Probably not. Was I excited to watch the show going in beforehand? To be honest, not really. Because it is AEW is a lot. So I'm not the
Yeah.
biggest American TV wrestling fan. So if you're into that, this is like WWE where like the rules are starting to be unwound. It's American TV wrestling, but they get away with some stuff. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
they swear, they have cool weapons that you don't see, they have some more rated R stuff, but at the same time when you take a step back, it's like Marvel versus DC. Marvel fans hate DC fans, DC fans hate Marvel fans, but when you are like an independent drama fan, you look at those guys and go, "You guys are arguing. You both watch the same movies, but yet you hate each other."
Right.
You know what I mean? So, as a
Mhm.
Japanese fan, this was way too American. But saying that, the highlights were very high and the lowlights were not low. So, for the analogy, the terrible analogy I'm going to use, it's like when your friend plays a best of album of their favorite band.
Hmm.
You go, yeah, those were obviously the best songs you have. They're good songs. Am I
Yeah.
going to listen to this album again? Probably not. Did I hate the album? No. You know what I mean? It feels kind
Right.
of there to me. So, am I going to go back to and watch AEW next week? Maybe, probably not. The one observation I'll make is if they brought back smaller shows, if they brought back Dark,
Mm.
Elevation, I'd probably watch them a little bit more. That's a bit more my feel for wrestling. I don't like arena rock. I don't like Kiss. I'm not going to give you a fucking R, but if you got a small venue that Nirvana's playing, I'm there. So
Oh, I understand that. Yeah.
it's one of those things where I can say extremely good. I know I sound like I don't know if it's hypocritical or whatever. Extremely good wrestling. Everyone's good. Not my cup of tea. You know, I'd probably add a little cream or sugar into it for my
Yeah.
liking, but am I going to say this was a bad show? No. This was a phenomenal show put on by a company that's on a massive upswing.
Mhm.
Uh, they have beginnings of stories, they have ends of stories. They had a show where all they had, how do I phrase this? Worldwide talent all building up to a main event. Even the women was like AEW versus AEW. The men's main event was AEW versus AEW.
Mhm.
So, as much as we can complain about how they use the roster, blah, 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 all of this was built up to put over our people to make sure that our people look great.
Yeah.
Did the Hurt Business look good? Yeah, but MJF and Darby looked like $1,000,000. So, as much as I want to thank you for having us watch the biggest show we've ever watched, there's a part of me that's like, I took 4 bathroom breaks in this show. So there's a little bit of highs and lows. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed you coming on. This was a very fun chat. We've been doing a lot of smaller independent companies, so to talk on something as large on AEW has been a little bit of a treat.
Oh, of course.
So
Thanks for
as
having me, man.
Oh, no worries. As we're on that note and we're wrapping up, how can the people find you, Mr. Jacobs, and what you do?
Well, first off, you can find me at my YouTube channel, Can't Stop Productions. Also, you can follow me on Twitch, Mr. Jacobs 420. Uh, and also all Elite Zone in the Wide Rail Wrestling Podcast. But yeah, man, I'm all over YouTube. I'm all on the YouTube, as the kids say.
Do the kids say that? I don't know if I've ever heard a kid. I will say that you've definitely brought an aura to the show, and I will use. I don't know if you've rizzed me up. I don't know what these words mean. I am too old and white to understand any of it. But I am stoked you were on the show. This is a
Thank you.
totally
Thank
rad episode. I'm showing my age
Healer.
here. But yeah, no, thanks for coming out. Thanks everybody for watching. This was a very fun episode of Road Trip Wrestling. We come out on the 1st and the 15th of the month, so expect us there. This show, between you and me, this show should be out in a week from now. So
Awesome.
we can do some sort of cross promotion to get it there. But it's like, I hate to say it, it's time to get back into our car. We got a hell of a to drive. I think the next episode we might be driving all the way back to Japan for a little bit of pro wrestling. Noah, we're 7 episodes in, and 4 of them have been in the United States. So I'm going to try to hope to break that trend. But yeah, thank you for coming out. Thanks
No
everybody for watching, and it's been real fun. We'll see you guys next time.
Peace.